challenging.
Some of that.
Holmes for three. Oh, what a shot! Lobbed up towards Cruz, and he jams it down! That could be the dagger. They have opened up a 30-point lead. Here they come! Here they come! 2 minutes to play, folks. It bubbles in. It's a one-point game. Levels the match with 91 seconds to go. What a comeback! Oh, what a pass! What a pass! The big shot for three. Oh, he's hit it! Would you believe it?
Hello and welcome to this fantastic new stadium in Glasgow, the Emirates Arena, for a real showpiece of the BBL season, the British Basketball League Trophy Final between the Leicester Riders and the Sheffield Sharks. And a lot at stake here today. The Leicester Riders are looking to make it 2 wins from 2 cup finals this season. The Sheffield Sharks have had a quiet couple of seasons. They definitely have a point to prove. I'm joined by a couple of familiar faces from the BBL, Dave Elderkin of the Durham Wildcats and Vince McCauley of the London Lions. Good to have you both with me. Vince, let me start with you. The BBL proving yet again that it can put on a real show. A great crowd here today.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic for a Saturday afternoon. We've had the cup final, 7,500 fans at the National Indoor Arena. And here, thanks to Glasgow City Council, a fantastic turnout once more.
Yeah, great game to look forward to. All the cheerleaders and the pre-season matches going on behind us as well. Looking at the match itself, the Riders, Dave, are big favourites, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I mean, you go back to the cup final, they fully deserve that triumph. And if we're going to match the excitement and have a game of that spectacle, then it's the Sharks who really have to step up today.
The Sheffield Sharks, tell us why, Vince, they're such outsiders, for those who may not watch the BBL every week, and why the Riders are such big favourites.
Well, there's 2 main reasons, really. The first one is all the matchups between these 2 teams have been really overwhelming victories for the Riders. Defensively, they've absolutely stifled the Sharks. And most importantly, one of their marksmen, Mikael Williams, won't be playing today. So that really puts them behind the 8 ball. But this is a final. Finals are for special people, and who knows what might happen.
And talking of finals, the Leicester Riders have won a final already this season. How much confidence will that give them, Dave?
I think it will give them a massive confidence. I think they'll also look to the fact that they won all 4 previous encounters between the 2 teams. What the Sharks have got to do is go back to the last game, just going into the final quarter where they were only 2 down, and it was the zone that bothered him in that last quarter, and Atiba's had a lot of time to try and figure out how he's going to attack that zone.
Confidence is a funny thing in sports, isn't it? After the Riders won that game at the NIA, which, by the way, was a huge crowd there, they went on a 12-match unbeaten run, didn't they?
Well, you know, winning is a habit. You know, winning big is a habit. Obviously, the team lost a final, the last game of last season, the Riders lost. They felt that pain. They came to the next available final and won. So that's going to do the whole organization a tremendous amount of good. So now they feel they can go into any big game and get the victory.
They are definitely favourites, but the Sheffield Sharks definitely have a chance as well. We are on Twitter this afternoon, and we'd love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts at BBL Officials, at BBL Official, and you can also use that hashtag on your screen, hashtag BBL Trophy Final. Maybe a couple of questions for the guys. We'll put them to them a little bit later on today, and we'd like to hear what you think of the game too. Now, what about this match coming up? It is a big BBL clash. And what happens when the Sharks and their opponents come up against each other? Let's find out with Dan Routledge.
With 1 trophy already in the cabinet for the Riders in 2013, it'll be all on for the Sharks to stand up and achieve in Glasgow what they haven't managed all season. In the 4 games between the sides this season, Leicester have been convincing with 4 big victories. And while Sheffield could be forgiven for having an element of doubt ahead of the final, Leicester will be confident. A feature of the previous meetings has been the Riders' relentless pressure on the Sharks' ball handlers. Pressing full court forces the guards to expend valuable energy when advancing the ball and can lead to turnovers and fast break baskets. The Riders have had great success this season against the Sharks when employing their zone defence. See here, the 2-3 zone is used to cover the court rather than mark man-to-man. One way of combating the zone is to shoot Leicester out of it, but Sheffield have been unable to do that. Riders' length on the wings allows them to challenge and contest every shot.
Micah Williams has particularly struggled to hit from behind the arc against Leicester, making just 4 of his 23 three-point attempts against the Riders in the 4 meetings. He's shooting just 19% compared to his season average 42. The Sharks as a team have also struggled. Leicester's zone can be broken down though, and the Sharks have done it on a few occasions. See here, Williams and Bridge set the double screen at the top of the zone, which allows Holmes to penetrate through to the heart of the paint and get an easy bucket. And also the high-low offense can be used to good effect to get inside the Riders' defense and not rely on those outside shots. At the other end, Leicester have the deepest squad in the league. All 5 starters average in double-digit scoring. With such a balanced attack and emphasis on ball movement, the Riders are tough to stop. Whether it's Cousinard getting to the rim or Sullivan on the 3, Leicester have a variety of weapons with which to hurt you.
Oh, fascinating tactical analysis. Dave and Vince still with me. Dave, when you approach a game like this, is it different to your average league game, for example? How do you prepare differently?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as Vince said, that it's a big final. Depends on whether the adrenaline's flowing. But I think that just watching those clips there, I think that, you know, the screening and the high-low principle against this zone is what Sheffield really have got to master. But they're not without shooters. B.J. Holmes is a good three-point shooter. Nick Lewis, who may well step in for Micah Williams, can shoot for fun from the three-point line. Mike Tuck has got range. They may well have the shooting to do it, but they need that high-low passing concept to make that possible.
If they were to do it, if they were to challenge, we would have one of the great underdog stories on our hands here today, because they're missing their best player, or one of their best players, aren't they?
Certainly one of their more consistent scorers they're missing. And, you know, underdogs do have their days in big finals. But Atiba Lyons won't be thinking about that. He'll be thinking, okay, I've got one guy less, and these are the guys I've got. Nick Lewis has bags of confidence, by the way. He can shoot the ball, he can handle the ball, he can penetrate. But I really like the triangle of Olu Babalola, Mike Tuck, and Jameson. I think those 3, if they work together inside, will be able to overcome the Riders' zone, because a zone tries to lull you into those outside shots. If they can stay away from the three-point line, they probably have a better chance.
Preparations continue for the main event behind me, but Mark Woods has been catching up with both coaches courtside.
Rob, your 4th meeting with Sheffield this season, 4 victories by an average of over 21 points. Is the biggest problem today going to be complacency for your team?
Absolutely not. These guys understand that this is a better team than we have played throughout the season. And anytime you get to a final, you expect the team that you're playing to play very well. My guys know that we're going to have to play good to win the game today.
You're obviously leading the league in defense. You're holding opponents to under 40%. If you do that against Sheffield today, is that going to be enough?
Yeah, I think that's where it starts for us. And if we can continue to get the consistent effort defensively, we should be good. And, you know, the thing for us is we feel like we can play different ways on the defensive end. So, you know, we'll read the game and see what's effective and go from there.
We saw in the Cup final on Sky just a few months ago, different players coming up big, but Jay Cousinard was such a key to you in that victory. Today, a key role for him again?
Well, yeah, he's key defensively. At first place, it starts for him. He's done a great job with that this season, but I think all our guys are ready, and what's been so special about this group is that they'll take a back seat if someone else is playing well. No one tries to force the action. You know, every game there's a different guy that leads the way.
Last night, obviously, Newcastle lost, put you in a better position in the league. 1 trophy behind you already. Are thoughts starting to go towards a possible clean sweep?
Nah, there hasn't been any talk of that. We've talked about getting to this final, and then today, doing our best to win the game. None of these guys have looked ahead.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Atiba, we've heard the news, Micah Williams not just out for the Cup final today, but also out for the season. How big a blow will that be for you?
It's going to be a tough hole to fill for us. You know, Micah's one of our better scorers. He's a consistent shooter for us, so it's going to be hard to overcome that, but we got to do our best, and guys got to step up.
That, in turn, I presume, will mean a big role today for Nick Lewis. He's just 19. What sort of expectations have you got from the biggest game of his life?
Well, Nick's a heck of a player, and he takes pressure well. You know, but we have to have other guys step up as well. It's going to have to be more than one guy fill that hole. It's going to have to be a team effort, and we're going to have to make plays in the game.
4 losses. I'm sure you won't need reminding to Leicester already this season. What's going to be the keys today to turning this around?
We we have to stick with our game plan and calm down a little bit. Last time we played them well for 3 quarters and kind of lost our nerve in the fourth and made some mistakes, and they capitalized on them. So, you know, we've had some changes since it's not the same team for 4 games, so we just getting better and better every time we play them.
Finally, of course, you're not just coach, you're part owner, administrator, everything in this team. What would it mean for this club to come away from a trophy from Glasgow today?
It'd be great. You know, it's been a while since it's been a year since we've won something, but it feels like a decade. But that's kind of how the Sharks is. It's the perception out there that we got to win. So to get back on that winning track would be a big help for us.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Atiba Lions of the Sheffield Sharks, the team have done so well to arrive here in Glasgow today for the BBL Trophy Final. Let's get our predictions then. Dave, are you going with the favourites or the outsiders?
I'm going with the favourites. To me, they've got tremendous defensive players. I think they're going to do a great job on Sheffield's guards. If Sheffield have a chance, then Mike Tuck and Babalola have got to step up big time.
Vince, you can get some good odds on Sheffield. Are you tempted?
No, I'm going to keep it where it's at. I think it's going to be tough for the Sharks to win. Well, you heard Coach Lyons saying it's been a long time since we won a trophy last year.
Yeah, so it wasn't that long.
Fantastic. No, it wasn't that long. No, I think the Sharks have everything to win here. But I expect the pride of the Sharks to come on and challenge the Riders,
Almost ready for the main event. The BBL Trophy Final is on the way next. The Leicester Riders have already won once in a cup final this season. It was a dramatic win at the NIA in Birmingham. Can they do it again and make it 2 cup wins out of 2? The Leicester Riders and the Sheffield Sharks are coming next, live from Glasgow. Welcome back to the Emirates Arena in Glasgow, one of the venues for the 2014 Commonwealth Games, and very impressive it is as well. Almost ready for the BBL Trophy Final now. Let's hand you over to your commentators, Vince McCauley and Dan Routledge.
Thank you very much, Tony. It's one of the great days in the BBL calendar, very exciting. Rob Paternoster and his Leicester Riders, heavy favourites for this game. Vince, what are the key factors for you in this contest?
Well, you know what? This is a real challenge for the Sheffield Sharks. They're a man down in Michael Williams, playing against a defensive machine. That's the Leicester Riders. Rob Paternoster really loving the winning feeling, and he's got his players loving to play in big games. And what a big game in a big venue.
It certainly is, and really the key factor will be Leicester's defence and how Sheffield managed to break it down. They've got to put 80 points on the board, Vince.
Well, you know what? Finals are low-scoring games, Daniel. I'm not sure they're going to need 80 points. What I think they're going to need is a lot of poise. If they don't get flustered, Coach Lyons would have been working in practice. Don't get flustered by the Riders' press. Pass the ball, move the ball, get the spots that we want to score from.
Well, he's had a difficult week. Atiba Lions had to deal with the Mika Williams injury. Let's take a look at the 2 team lineups for this big BBL Trophy Final. We'll start out with the Leicester Riders. Goes alphabetical in the final, and really they've had 46 years of trying. The Riders made 10 major finals before today, every single one of them gone in as underdogs. This is the first time they've gone in as heavy favourites. That could alter the mindset, even though they've got the likes of Sullivan, who's been here, Williams, who's been here before and done it before.
Well, like I say, Daniel, I love finals because finals bring out special people. But this team has a lot of special people in it. First guy on the list, Jay Cousinard, the MVP from the Cup final not so long ago. You've mentioned the captain of the Great Britain Olympic team. You've mentioned Yorick Williams, who's a real veteran of the game. These guys are really gelling together, and actually this might be the beginning of something special.
Well, let's take a look at the Sharks lineup, and really all the talk is the name that's not there, Williams. He's a big threat for them. He may have struggled against Leicester, but he's certainly an excellent 3-point threat. They're going to have to find some way. I assume it's through Nick Lewis and through Andrew Bridge, who's making a record 8th appearance in the BBL Trophy Final. They're going to have to try and cover that at both ends of the floor.
Well, you know what, Daniel? No disrespect to the great talents of Michael Williams, but actually, if we were going to lose somebody out of the starting 5, it might have had to be him, because he hasn't been shooting the ball well against the Leicester Riders. And actually what the Sheffield Sharks need is better ball handling, and Nick Lewis will assist BJ Holmes into the teeth of the Riders defense.
Well, there we go. Drew Sullivan, who was MVP the last time Leicester made it to a BBL Trophy Final. Unfortunately for the Riders, he was playing for Newcastle at the time, and they beat Leicester by 21. Great experience in this game, and at the other end of the court, one of his teammates on that occasion, a guy going for a record trophy haul, a record BBL medal haul. Andrew Bridge, nobody has won more medals than him.
Well, funny, you know what? I thought we were going to get through this trophy final without mentioning Newcastle. And here they are with two guys who've got the title on both teams. So really, who is it going to rub up on? Obviously, Andrew Sullivan right now on the up. Andrew Bridge has not had the greatest of starts with his career back at the Sheffield Sharks. But this is the final. He knows what it is to play here, and he's got some real talent around him. Babalola, Tuck, and of course, BJ Holmes.
And as the team shake five, you look at a guy like Anthony Rose, talked this week about how hard it was for him last season, losing in the trophy final as a Plymouth Raider, playing for the Newcastle Eagles. Again, he's driven by that.
Nobody happier than Anthony Rose today, because basically he's exercising all the ghosts of last year, playing for his hometown team. He couldn't get it done. He had to get on his bike. Here he is in Leicester. Here he is in Glasgow, hopefully looking to add to that tally.
Well, the teams are out. Thumbs up from the referee. Rob Paternostro and Atiba Lyons have done what they can do in the build-up, in the preparation. Now it's up for the players to deliver. It will be Jameson and Rowe to jump it up, and it is Bridge, fittingly, the man with more BBL trophy medals, well, as many BBL trophy medals as anybody else, gets us underway. Sheffield, the underdogs, with the ball and the first chance to score. Leicester, Tuck going to the basket. We said perhaps with their perimeter missing Williams, they might have to go inside a bit more.
I think they have no choice, Daniel. Mike Tuck, Olu Babalolo and Jemison absolutely pivotal to any hope of a Sharks victory.
Taylor, who's been in scintillating form, was huge in the semi-finals for them. Rowe goes right back at Tuck and says, have some of that.
Okay, here comes the first of the extended pressure from the Riders. Nothing too serious, just a little bit of man-to-man up the floor.
But again, it's just pressuring the ball on every occasion. And we said it before, the difference that Leicester have is, all right, it's Zaire Taylor doing it now as BJ Holmes penetrates to the basket. Good work from Jameson on the offensive glass. Out to Tuck, thinks about the three, turns it down. Babalola almost lost it, gets it to Holmes in the corner. But talking about the pressure, Leicester have 4 or 5 guys they can throw out there and pressure BJ Holmes.
Yes, he's got a long night ahead of him. What I like here about the Sharks is the patience. There's patience and offensive rebounds. It's their third possession on this trip down the floor.
Jemison with 2 offensive boards on this trip to give them all these chances, and usually you give a team 3 chances, they score.
Yeah, everybody would love 3 attempts at the bucket, but the key thing, Daniel, can they do this for 4 quarters? Patience, don't rush it, and don't take the shots that you don't want.
Well, we saw a few weeks ago in our coverage on Sky Sports, Leicester hosting Sheffield, and for 28 minutes it was very much in the balance, but just down the stretch Leicester pulled away. Rowe with a tough mid-range shot is short. Jemison with yet another rebound.
We've done a lot of talking about the defense of the Riders. You know, Daniel, they're not a great offensive team. They're an equal opportunities team. Everybody moves the ball. Everybody looks for an opportunity. If they struggle to score as time goes by, it'll be interesting to see what effect that has on their mentality.
They go back down low to Tuck. Tuck spinning past Rowe. Draws the foul. Couldn't quite get the roll on that. But they're certainly trying to establish Mike Tuck in the opening few minutes here.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a big game for Mike Tuck. You know, Mike Tuck is a big-time player. He's worked really hard this season with the Sharks when they had their struggles earlier on in the season, kept the team together, kept them focused.
So Tuck will go to the free throw line for a couple of foul shots to try and double his side's lead. Opening couple of minutes of the 2013 BBL Trophy Final in Glasgow for the first time. And Tuck can't convert the first free throw. Second one is clean though, and the Sharks lead by 3.
Well, interesting call of offense here with Andrew Sullivan bringing the ball up. They're trying to post up Zaire Taylor there. They were trying to they're trying to get the ball to Anthony Rowe and post up Zaire Taylor on BJ Holmes under the basket.
Well, that's the, I mean, we talk about Leicester and how there's perhaps no superstar standout guy. They managed to cover if anybody's playing badly. One guy who very rarely plays below par, Drew Sullivan, but he's so versatile. As Kuznar goes to the hole, lays it in. You can see Sullivan bring the ball up quite comfortably. You can see him play inside, play the 5 position.
Absolutely, multi-dimensional, and that's why Rod Paternoster went to try and run that play. Interestingly, both buckets for the Riders, physical attacks at the basket, physical result. Oh, and there's another foul.
Jemison trying to go along the baseline. Pavel Lashonsky is called for the foul. And Demetrius, I thought he was going to go to the free throw line, but the referee decided that was still on the floor, so it'll be an end-line ball to the Sharks.
Yeah, I think that's what Atiba Lyons was trying to say. And we have our first substitution, I think, Daniel.
Barry Lamble, the Riders' captain, into the game for the first time, replacing Rowe. And I'm just wondering if Leicester are going to this zone. They started out man, but it looks now as if they've gone to this 2-3 zone.
Well, early doors, eh? Early doors for the zone. Let's see what the Sharks have been working on in practice for this.
Here's Babalola looking to penetrate. Somehow gets through. Didn't look like there was any space, and he managed to get there.
Well, the longer they stay off that three-point line, Daniel, the better chance they will have against that zone.
Lasonsky up top.
Yeah, medium-range jump shot. That's what he's going to live on.
Way short. That's normally, as you say, a comfortable jump shot for him.
I mean, I'm worried about that if I'm Coach Lyons, because I don't really like a situation where you let a guy like Lasonsky take his best shot, as we just saw Babalola go in there.
There's just a delay in the game. Not sure what the referees have stopped it for.
I think it's to do with the clock, but either which way, I see the Leicester Riders setting up in their 2-2-1 press back into a zone. There we go, broken straight away.
Lobbed into Holmes. I don't think Taylor was quite ready for that. BJ Holmes down. There's Jamison making himself a nuisance inside, and Sullivan pulls in the rebound. Sullivan round the high screen. Lamble comes to the elbow. Kick round to Kuznod. Steps back for three. Jay Kuznod! String music from behind the arc. He's got 5 early on for the Riders. Level at 7. Babalola to Holmes, onto Bridge. Bridge penetrate, knocked loose by Taylor. Here comes Taylor on the break, has Kuznod with him, doesn't need him, lays it in for 2. Defense feeding offense again.
Absolutely, and they nearly lost the ball again, the Sharks. They've got to stay patient here. They just have to stay patient. Interesting that, you know, we talked about maybe Nick Lewis would start. They started with the experience of Bridge. They're going to need that.
Here's Holmes. They need that as well when they do get those open threes to knock them down.
Well, Coach Paternoster went to that zone early. He'd had enough of the up and down stuff. He challenged them right off the bat, and they've come back with 2 good possessions.
Sullivan round the high screens, goes left, back out to Lasonsky, moves it on. Taylor, same spot as Kuznod, different result though. Holmes with the rebound, has Tuck ahead of him. Jemison coming as well.
Good
Here's
patience.
Babalola on the trail.
Good patience from Holmes.
Babalola given some space, can't knock it down.
I don't like that shot, Daniel. It's an early in the shot clock. It's a fadeaway jump shot with Babalola running away from the basket. At his height and size, he should be challenging now.
Kuznod knocks down the jump shot. He got caught as well, and he will go to the free throw line.
Bad shots lead to bad things. Bad shot from the Sharks led to a good thing for Jay Kuznod.
Well, he was the MVP in the BBL Cup final, and in the first 5 minutes, he's got 7 points on the board, a chance to make it 8 here.
Indeed, and we've also had a substitution, not just for the Riders, but also for the Sharks, with Andrew Bridge sitting down and Nick Lewis stepping in.
Jorge Calvo into the game for Leicester. And again, this is just different options to pressure up court. Lewis is guarded by Kuznod. Double team comes, he breaks it well enough, but picks it up on the halfway line, just gets it across. Holmes for 3, hits again!
That's what I'm talking about, the patience. BJ Holmes executed, but it was Nick Lewis who created that. There's a beautiful form on that jump shot from the young fella.
BJ Holmes 2 of 2 from behind the arc. He's got 8 now as well. Those two, him and Kuznod, the leading scorers. Sullivan sizing up Babalola. Tuck offers a little bit of help, then goes back to his man. Sullivan. Babalola got a little piece of that as he tried to get the shot away. Tuck drives in. Lamble stands his ground. Rebound Sullivan.
Interesting early shot. Sharks have to stay mentally focused. This is a long game against a very good Riders team.
Calvo, again, Riders coming with this horns, 2 high screens. Gets it to Anderson. Sullivan to Lamble from 16 feet. Doesn't quite go. Anderson in there with the rebound and draws the foul, and we saw what an impact Jamal Anderson gave the Riders in that cup final before he got in that foul trouble. He's looking to be active on the glass again.
Could have easily been the MVP of that cup final, Daniel. Basically staying aggressive on that Lamble jump shot, securing the rebound and going up strong. I'm not sure who the foul was called on there, but obviously he will go to line and shoot a free throw.
Lamble and Kuznod sits down. Taylor into the game. Rowe also checking back for Leicester. It's one of the hard things about covering Leicester is keeping an eye on all the substitutions and which guys are out there.
Well, part of the team spirit ethos of Coach Paternostro and the organization.
We've had at least 7, I think 8 guys have come in to the game already. Yeah, it is 8.
Yep, Nick Lewis patient.
Babalola back to Lewis.
This really helps the
Holmes
Sharks.
again. I thought for a second he was going to fire one up. Leicester close him out this time. Shot clock getting low. It's cross court to Lewis. Big shot for Lewis. Doesn't quite go. It looked good when it left his hand.
It looked
right
very
behind
good.
that.
It looked very good. But I like that one. That was a better offense. They took their time, didn't rush themselves, and got a shot from one of their better shooters.
Taylor to Sullivan. Rowan. Look at the battle in the low block between Rowe and Tuck.
Working really hard, Mike Tuck trying to deny Rowe that low post position. That's a dangerous position where Rowe likes to receive the ball 15, 18 feet away from the basket.
Sullivan now getting a break. Lashonsky coming back in. Bridge also checking in, and Babalola sitting down.
A real level of focus required from the Sharks. They're a small team now. Holmes, Bridge, and Nick Lewis. Anderson
penetrates, dumps off. Good ball movement, finds Calvo. A little step back from Jorge. Does it go? Yes, it does.
2 bounces and in.
Lewis gets it back. Taylor
needs some patience.
Taylor just helping back towards him, but did he get there in time? No, he didn't. Another one from BJ Holmes.
The little fella from downtown.
Rose spinning along the baseline. I think he might have stepped on it. Yes, he did. Out of bounds.
Big feet.
A Sheffield ball, and Rob Paternoster screaming at Taylor there. Make sure you know where BJ Holmes is. Don't leave it away from him.
Yeah, this will just be giving confidence to the Sharks. Leading the game at this stage, not rushing anything.
Lewis fakes at the 3, gets it to Jemison. Skip round to Bridge. Bridge down to Tuck. Tuck, little floater for 2. Shots by 3. Taylor with the quick step off the glass. Quick to respond for Leicester.
They can't let Leicester get into the transition game. Very well spotted by Zaire Taylor. Saw an angle to the glass.
Lewis back to Holmes. 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Basket for basket, pretty much. This is the man with the hot hand. Holmes to Bridge for 3. Goes! Another one from the Sharks. On fire from behind the arc.
Okay. Food for thought for the Riders coaching staff right here.
4 from 6 from behind the line for the Sheffield Sharks. Lashonsky trying to find some space and eventually gets a whistle.
This might be on Mike Tuck.
It is.
If it is,
on
that might
Tuck.
be his second.
We'll wait for confirmation from the table.
There's
Here's
the spin
another
move,
look.
hesitation, and a hand in a cookie jar. Mike Tuck.
His second, he sits down, replaced by Babalola. Pavel Lashonsky at the free throw line, shooting a pair. That one's good, and now he has a chance to cut Sheffield's lead down to only 2.
A real revelation this season. His first in the BBL, Pavel Lashonsky.
Really came to prominence in that game against Newcastle, where Leicester won up there for the first time in 15 years, I think it was. It was our opening game of the season here on Sky Sports. And
absolutely.
John Fraley out injured. Holmes taking it to the basket, blocked by Sullivan. Here's Zasonski out on the break.
Great hands, Babalola.
Babalola to steal it away. End to end. Referee just stopped the game. I didn't see what happened, but is it Holmes is on the ground injured. Didn't see what happened to him. He's holding his head.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's just an elbow to the head rather than a twisted knee or ankle.
It looks like he's holding his head, so it is that. It must have been on that last play as he went to the basket.
That will be key. This is just Babalola taking care of the ball before the game got stopped. But this is absolutely key for the Sharks. This is somebody who started the game really, really on fire.
Well, he's got back up, and he seems to be okay. Thumbs up from the officials.
Big heart from the little man.
They are going to have to sub him out, though, because he did get some treatment, I think. Oh, no? Yeah, they are.
Yes, they are.
So Gachette will have to come in for his first taste of the action. Holmes didn't want to go out, that's for sure,
no, that's
but
for sure.
it is the rule.
Yeah, this is the rule, and I hope he'll be back soon. I mean, Gachette's not known for his patience, but hopefully they have been, emphasizing that throughout the season. Throughout this week's practice, rather, for this game, which is really crucial to the Sharks organization.
Good hands from Taylor to deflect it out of bounds. Atiba Lyons with the quick hands.
The shot clock is down to 10 seconds, in which they'll need to find an offense.
Babalola. Nowhere to go, kicks it out to Lewis. Lewis under pressure for three, that one doesn't go. Tipped away.
Oh, good hustle.
And that came off row last. Jemison made a nuisance of himself.
I like Jemison, he's well built, he's a good size, he jumps well, he makes a nuisance of himself. Wide shoulders, causing a problem.
Bridge inbounds it. Good hands from Sullivan to steal that away. Sloppy one from the Sharks there. Calvo. Sloppy
away.
One from him, and Lewis runs it back. Has Babalola with him. Babalola has it pulled down by Calvo.
Calvo, you're right. Babalola, great drive to the bucket. Good defensive series from the Sheffield Sharks. Couple of little steals earlier on, and there's the other one from Lewis.
Calvo recovering back, and as much as anything, yes, he's going for steal first, but he's making sure the guy isn't getting an easy layup.
Oh, absolutely.
He'll sit down. Yorick Williams into the action for the first time.
Colin Singh also for the Sharks. Sharks have to be careful here. Got a number of young guys on the floor at the same time. I know they're trying to buy minutes for Tuck, but it is only 48 seconds. Yorick Williams can hit a three at any time.
Babalola makes the free throws. Sheffield with the advantage here in the BBL Trophy final by 4. Taylor. Up comes Rowe to Williams. You've got to go all the way out to Yorick. He has infinite range. Zasonski, Taylor left open. They're trying to recover. He head fake, steps under, takes the two. Smart play.
Smart play. Good defense, smart play. They chased him off the three-point line, but he had the presence of mind to knock down the short jumper.
Holmes can just about run it down. There might be a second and a half, maybe two, between the shot and the game clock.
Patience. Good job, B.J. Holmes.
Round the screen, still going, dancing through, tosses it up, it almost goes in. That's out of bounds, last touch of Singh. So Leicester will have possession of the ball. They've got a couple of seconds to go to try and get one more score on the board here. Gets it to Taylor. Taylor back to Sullivan. Sullivan with the runner, not quite.
Nice length, but not quite on target though, Daniel.
Good first half, good first quarter though, Vince.
Absolutely excellent first quarter. The Leicester Riders asking a lot of questions of the Sheffield Sharks. The Sheffield Sharks showing a lot of composure and poise in this big game.
Certainly is. Sheffield with the fine shooting from the three-point line, taking an early lead here at the BBL Trophy Final. We'll be back with second quarter action after this break. Welcome back to the Emirates Arena. Great crowd in here in Glasgow, and it's the Sheffield Sharks who lead the Leicester Riders by a couple, but it's the Riders who will get us underway here in the second period. Sullivan tosses it into Taylor. Sullivan wants it down low. Sullivan gets it on the low block. Squares up to Babalola. Goes at him. Rowe from the elbow is short. Williams, great offensive rebound coming from the three-point line to keep it alive. Here's Yorick in the corner. Bails out of the three. Gets it to Sullivan with a little one-handed shot.
Andrew Sullivan being really, really aggressive.
Holmes has it for the Sharks. PJ Holmes perfect in that first quarter from behind the arc. 3 of 3 threes for 11 points. Holmes under pressure gets it to Jemison. Jemison double teamed. He's in trouble here. Trying to get out of it. Tosses it up. It hits the ring, so that's okay. Buzzer goes, but referees play it. Leicester have the ball. Taylor trying to drive through. He's going to get called for the walking violation.
Yeah, I think he got caught in 2 minds there. He had Yorick Williams on his right running to the three-point line. He hesitated and then feet were too quick for himself.
Just sort of picked it up, and because he got the ball sort of stuck over Holmes, couldn't get it away. Tied at 23 here. Babalola round the screen. Taylor jumping out to him. Bichette. Holmes is in the corner. Goes inside to Jemison. Williams.
Yorick Williams hand in there.
Reaching down.
Reaching down. It'll be Jemison there.
And
They decided he was shooting on that one.
Yeah, given a couple of shots there.
Net on that one.
It's one of the occupational hazards of being on the bench for Leicester. If somebody does something bad at the other end of the court, Rob Paternoster will turn around and shout at the bench.
Constantly coaching, and that's why they've had the success they've had this year.
Taylor gets it onto Williams. Wasonski wants it down low, and he gets it now, backing down. Singh trying to go to work. Spins back the other way off the glass.
Good job.
Good defense in the end from Singh to prevent the shot.
Most importantly, he didn't reach in and foul him, which was key.
Holmes.
Oh,
great pass.
Oh, another one.
It's into Jemison. Gets the shot off. Super ball movement from the shot.
Excellent little triangle on the inside there. Nice patience from Colin Singh. Really pleased for him. Trying to find his way into this Sheffield team this season. Hasn't really had the success he wanted. Patience on defense, patience on offense.
Taylor round to Sullivan. Sullivan against Babalola. Double team comes. It's on to Williams. Williams under pressure for 3. Halfway down. Wasonski with the offensive rebound. He goes straight back to work. Had it knocked loose by Singh. And he pulls down the rebound.
Yep, excellent. The defense is, the thing is with the Sharks now, they've been really, really patient, really, really poised. They're beginning to love it now.
Holmes resets. Babalola. Singh down in the low corner. Out to Babalola. Babalola drives through. Bichette with the jump shot doesn't go. Sullivan pulls it in. Taylor.
On the run.
Taylor this time didn't
Good
quite have
help.
enough.
That's Gatet. Got right in the way of Taylor's drive to the basket. Oh.
Holmes threw it forward to Babalola. Babalola
tripped,
though,
I think, more than anything. Off Yorick's foot. Nothing intentional there, just a trip. I think because the pass was made in that direction, the referees had no alternative, really. Here he goes.
Yeah, he did trip over Yorick's feet, and as you say, because the ball was going that way, ref felt he had to call it against him.
Unfortunate second foul on Yorick. He sat down. In come Anderson and Kuznarov. And also, Daniel, the Sharks are getting a lot of rest for Mike Tuck on that 2 fouls. Really, really good at getting solid minutes out of Colin Singh and Zach Gatet. But here's the critical point. Jemison takes the blow.
Calvo coming into the game. Rowe will get a break. I assume that's a response because while they've got Jemison and Tuck on the bench, they're a bit shorter, the Sharks. So Leicester have replied in kind.
Indeed.
fact, Leicester appears to have gone back man-to-man as Lewis off the glass.
Lewis can take Calvo anytime. I'm not sure about that matchup because Lewis is a confident guy trying to get to the basket. Calvo's strength is in denying a player the ball.
Sullivan. Here's Calvo. Sets his feet for three. Little short, and Holmes with the rebound. Anderson almost knocked that loose for a second there. Sheffield by 6 here. Holmes fakes at the three, drives in. Great move to the basket, BJ Holmes.
Having a nice chat with the referee. Nice to see the two guys communicating. The ref saying, yes, I see you, and Holmes saying, I know, it could have been a foul, but you let me go to the basket. Nice work by those two.
He's got 13. The Sharks leading by 8. Inside to Sullivan, dancing to the basket. Will that count? Yes, it will. Drew Sullivan, more often than not, when Leicester need a score and down 8, they needed a score, they go to Sullivan.
Critical basket that was, because BJ Holmes is filling his team with lots of confidence, but there's Sullivan. If you let Sullivan go around to the right, I think it's all over, as you can see right there. Beautiful. One shot to come for the Great Britain captain.
He makes that. But Sheffield still with a nice lead here in the BBL Trophy final of 5 points.
Yep, just got to be patient.
Singh.
Singh's
Taylor all over Holmes. Won't let him get the ball. Here's Lewis. Lewis drives in.
Oh my goodness.
Lewis finding a gap.
Oh, great effort. Zach Nichet, offensive rebound.
And Holmes calls the screeners forward. Holmes goes back the other way into the free throw line, out to Singh. Ooh. Singh, stop and go, drives to the finger roll for
young fella, where to go, young fella? In the cup final, Daniel, it was Anderson who was doing the work for the Leicester Riders. Here in Glasgow, it's Colin Singh with a strong move to the basket, kiss of the glass for 2.
Well, the Sharks came in big underdogs into this game. They forced the Leicester Riders into a timeout here in this second period. They've opened up a 7-point lead. It was 8 a moment or 2 ago. They've got to like the way they're playing.
Coach Lyons is absolutely delighted, you know, and obviously with the absent Michael Williams, he knew he needed a collective team effort. And they've kept things low-key in the camp. Yes, it's a final, but they try to keep the pressure off the young fellas. And it's the young fellas that's getting extra minutes that are really helping our coach at Tiber Lions right here.
And we talk about Leicester's defense and how they're #1 in the league in points against, #1 in field goals against, #1 in 2-point shooting against. But Sheffield have already got 33 points on the board in this game.
Well, that just shows you when I thought the Riders went to that zone a little early, and that got BJ Holmes nice and fresh to bang those 3-pointers. But hey, let's not get it confused. Despite what the Sharks are doing under the basket in the shape with Jemison and his teammates, this is a very good Riders team. They're going to keep coming for 40 hard minutes.
Well, that's the one thing with Leicester is there's been a number of occasions this season, a number of occasions in the last month or so, where they've got behind double figures in the first half. And, I mean, you think of the semi-final of the trophy at Worcester. I think they were 12 down just before half-time, came out to win the game by 9.
Well, I think the Riders haven't settled into a rhythm here yet. You know, we're not sure who's handling the ball. We're not sure who's getting the shots. You know, they're just not quite in sync. It's going to click at some point, but they're not quite there yet.
Calvo. Round the screen. Gets it on to Taylor. Taylor to Sullivan. Shot clock getting low. Sullivan fires up for 3. Little short. Calvo with the offensive rebound. Recycles round to Sullivan. Lobbed into Anderson. Good help from Holmes. Tried the fancy pass down and didn't get there. It was knocked out of bounds. It'll be a Leicester ball.
Now it's Riders' time with extended possession. And this gives you confidence. The more attempts you get at the bucket, the better.
Taylor. Calvo open for 3, doesn't go. Anderson in there again, causing problems. Singh has to save that, does save it. Jemison gets there.
He does so. Zach Nichet, good job passing it on to the cool hand Luke. BJ Holmes.
Here's Jemison. Holmes, shot clock's getting very low here. BJ has to fire it up, does, and hits it on the buzzer.
My goodness, it's all about confidence. And BJ Holmes back fulls.
9-point lead now for the Sheffield Sharks, biggest of the game. Kuznard trying to find a gap, couldn't quite get that one to drop in off the glass. He will go to the free throw line for 2.
You see how hard the Sheffield Sharks have been working in practice, Daniel. They showed out on Kuznard, and just a little window allowed the big fella to get in and get that attempt. But the way they're moving on the picks, the way they're showing, especially on Zaire Taylor, taking him out of his rhythm and recovering back to their man, it's causing a problem for the Riders. So you're left with Calvo shooting 3-point shots. If you wanted anybody on the Riders to shoot 3-point shots, it would be Calvo.
Jay Kuznard at the free throw line, trying to cut into this 9-point lead. That was a long way short.
The two young guys taking a well-deserved break, Daniel. Zach Getchet and Colin Singh, we must mention them because they've really supported this team exceptionally well.
Well, friendly bubble there for Jay Kuznard. It must have bounced 4 or 5 times before it went in. Leicester again coming with some full court pressure. Oh, Lewis lost it for a second. Calvo trying to chase it back, is called for the foul.
This time around, Coach Paternoster going with a full court man-to-man press rather than that 2-2-1 press. But really, I think you've got 2 quick guys out there in Holmes and Lewis. This is where I say the absence of Williams actually helps the Sharks, because now you have 2 better ball handlers in the backcourt.
Well, that was the second foul on Calvo, so Lasonsky will check into the game.
If I were Coach Paternoster, I would put Calvo on BJ Holmes and let him work on denying him the ball. I think they're going to have to look at that, because BJ Holmes is orchestrating this final right now.
Zip pass to Bridge, now down low to Babalola. Babalola trying to go to work, goes the long way round, off the mark. Bridge almost timed the rebound, but just lost out in the end.
Yep, tough one there.
Taylor. Sullivan. Babalola's never too far away from him, is he?
He's working hard. He knows that if he leaves Drew Sullivan alone, only good things for the Riders will happen.
Rowe bats that one out only as far as Lewis, and Babalola comes up with it, hands it back to Holmes. Chance for the Sharks to take a double-figure lead here in the first half.
Holmes really taking care of business.
Trying to find a way through, zips it out to Babalola. Babalola, a little crossover, fires it up short, rebound Lasonsky. Taylor has it. Down to Rowe, Rowe against Bridge. Double team comes, gets out to Kuznard from behind the arc. He was hot early, that one didn't go. Taylor timed it well, but Holmes comes down with it.
Little fella grabbed it in. Kuznard from the same spot that he'd hit one earlier. A lot of conversation going on at the Leicester bench, Daniel, trying to find the right blend.
Lewis, Jemison driving in, spins back, tosses it off the glass, and the Sharks lead by 10 here.
Beautiful head fake to get Anthony Rowe off his feet before he went up there, Jemison. Relishing this opportunity, the underdogs fighting for their lives. There's the show on the screen. Sullivan goes against Babalola, gets it in.
And that's the thing, you've got to recover against that, because you can't allow Sullivan to dive under like that.
Absolutely, and the presence of mind to just wait till when the help would walk away, and as soon as it did, Andrew Sullivan took it right to the rack.
Well, before the game, we were chatting to a few of the players, spoke to Mike Tuck about the difference between their league form and their trophy form.
Yeah, we've been struggling, this far as in terms of the league. It's just been a rough start for us, but we've made some changes throughout the season here, and things are starting to pick up for us as of lately, and especially in the trophy competition. I think guys realize what's at stake here, and they step up. There's more focus during these games, and guys want to bring home some silverware back to Sheffield. So. We're treating these games, very importantly, and hopefully make something happen today.
Well, Mike Tuck, an experienced veteran, they've managed to rest him here in this second quarter on those 2 fouls, but you know he's going to have a big contribution to make in the second half.
He will, Daniel. And you know, when we prepare for finals and we talk about zone defenses and pressure offenses and everything else, the one thing you can never factor into is the pride of a basketball player and a veteran like Mike Tuck. You know that Atiba Lyons has called on the experience of Bridge and the experience of Tuck to hold this team together.
Babalola makes his way to the baseline, ready to inbound. It's the Sharks with just over 2 minutes to go here in the first half, who lead by 8. Their advantage has been as many as 10. Sullivan almost got that stolen away. Bridge recovered, drive to the basket, drew the foul. Jemison jammed in the rebound, it won't count.
Well, I'm glad to see that. That's a bit of smarts there from Andrew Bridge. First of all, he really showed for the ball because Andrew Sullivan looked to steal that, recovered his poise, recognized he was unbalanced and attacked the basket, causing that foul.
Bridge then trying to make it a double-figure lead yet again. Makes the first foul shot. They're both good.
2 from 2.
2 to play here in the first half. It's the underdog Sharks who lead by 10. Sullivan drives in, throws it up, jammed down by Couisnard. He went up high.
Way above the basket to put a lid on it. Jay Couisnard.
Holmes. Lewis penetrates, slightly off balance, doesn't quite go. Tapped away. I think it was Jemison got the last touch to knock it to Holmes. Lewis. Thrown away. Here comes Taylor. Taylor against Holmes. And Bridge offering the help, but laid in by Zaire Taylor.
Dangerous time. Sharks have got to stay calm. They've got here by being patient, and they've rushed a couple of shots. The power of the Riders beginning to show. Look at the size of that Riders team on the floor.
Holmes against Couisnard. Round the screen. Babalola dancing through, lost the handle, ball is loose, didn't hit the ring, got to shoot. 24-second violation. Babalola just sort of lost control of the ball, it went up in the air.
Yeah, didn't quite get his feet under him when he was trying to score. Andrew Bridge secured the rebound, thought he got fouled, but the shot clock expired.
And you said a moment ago, this is a big couple of moments here with 49 seconds to go. Leicester have a chance to cut this back to a 4-point game. It was 10.
Absolutely, and this is what I mean about the strength and power of the Riders. Coach Paternoster has shuffled his pack, and now we've got this huge team on the floor.
Oh! Taylor gets it back as he tried to throw the alley-oop to Couisnard. Sullivan wants the screen, round to Taylor. Taylor for 3. Taylor hits it! And Leicester have halved the lead down to 3.
And a timeout is called by Coach Lyons, second by second. You've got to look after it second by second by the big game player, Zaire Taylor.
Zaire Taylor hits big shots. That's what he does. I mean, he doesn't make loads of threes, but they all seem to come at important times.
Well, absolutely, and that's what you want from your big players. And that wasn't an open shot. He had a hand in his face, but that's just like in the semi-finals against the Worcester Wolves. He did the job for the Riders.
Atiba Lyons drawing up a play here. It'll essentially be the last play of the first half. There is a second and a half difference between the shot and the game clock. How important for Sheffield to get a basket here and take a 5-6 point lead into the half?
Well, I think it's not so much the basket, Daniel, it's what happens in terms of the poise. They don't turn the ball over. They don't take a bad shot. They don't give up a transition bucket to the Riders, because right now the Riders have hit a bunch of points in a row off bad shots by the Sharks. So he'll be saying, listen, yes, this is what I want to run, but you know, this Riders team, they could come out in a man-to-man press, they could come out in a trapping zone press. We don't know what they're going to do. He'll just be wanting whatever happens to come off a composed attempt.
Back out come Leicester. Sharks still having a last little chat over this play. And 25 seconds on the game clock. and it will be an end-line ball to the Sharks.
Well, they're staying man-to-man, the Riders. The Sharks are going to have to work for this.
Taylor and Holmes off the court guarding. Those two go back a long way.
I like what BJ Holmes was doing there, just making sure he had the space to operate.
They've both got a smile on their face as they come back. Holmes trying to get it to Lewis. He does get it to him. Sullivan glances up at the clock to see how long's left. He's guarding the man with the ball. Lewis drives in. Sullivan with the block. Leicester have a chance here. Sullivan running it down, kicks it too far in front of Olszewski. It's a right idea, just overthrew it.
That's what I was saying, Daniel, in terms of the kind of shot you get on poise. A stretched out leaner from Nick Lewis against the Great Britain captain isn't quite what you wanted as he stuffs it back down here.
Holmes has a look at the clock, goes round, fires up from the halfway line. It's the only three-point shot he's missed, for it was one from the halfway line. It was his three-point shots that got the Sharks going. Their lead was as many as 10, but Leicester just kept coming.
Yes, I don't think Coach Atiba Lyons is confused. He knows he's going to have to work his team hard for 4 quarters. The Riders are playing in the final. They want to be here. They want to win. It's going to be down to Mike Tuck and his guys to regroup in the second half.
Certainly is very much in the balance here at the Emirates. We'll be back with analysis at the half.
Welcome to the Emirates Arena. We have an absolute crackerjack of a BBL trophy final on our hands at the moment. The Sheffield Sharks lead by just 3. Remember, they were big underdogs, so they're doing really well. Half-time here at the moment, the BBL Dunkers are doing their bit behind me. And we can go courtside straight away with Mark Woods, who is with Demetrius Jemison.
Demetrius, 10 points and 6 rebounds personally for you, but you guys have managed to really disrupt them offensively.
Yes, we really wanted to come out and be really aggressive with them and try to take them out what they like to do best, and that's what we did in this first half.
You talked before the game about using long-range shooting to break them out of their zone. BJ, that first half been sensational from outside.
Yes, it's something we worked on all week leading up to the game. We knew we was going to have to shoot them out of that zone, and that's what we wanted to come out and do in this first half.
So you've lost 4 times to them this season. You know they're a very good team, and you're expecting, I guess, now some pretty fierce resistance in this second half.
Oh yes, they're a very good team, and they've already won a couple before, so they're going to come out and be very resilient, and it's not going to be an easy game. We have to keep fighting for 20 more minutes.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
There you go, Dave Elderkin still with me. Dave, what an impressive performance so far from the Sheffield Sharks.
Terrific performance, Tony. If we were doing our analysis with 2 minutes to go, we'd been saying all the good things about the Sharks, and one of the things would have been saying the struggles with the Leicester offence. 1 minute later, they've pulled it back to 3. Leicester offence caught fire, or at least Zaire Taylor did.
Well, let's start by looking at Sheffield's three-pointers, because they've been so dominant in that area, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I mean, BJ Holmes could almost put a cross on the floor where he's shooting these from. 3 for 3 from that same spot. He's been absolutely terrific. And also, I mean, Andrew Bridge has made some really good shot as well from the three-point line.
We were looking at the odds before the start of the game. The Sheffield Sharks were 10-1 and the Riders were 10-1 on. What's been the difference, and how impressed have you been with BJ Holmes?
I think BJ has been the dominant point guard. I think he's run the show really well, but I've been incredibly impressed with the Sheffield defence. For the majority of that half, maybe 18 minutes of that half, they've had the Leicester offence really struggling for points. And it was only when Zaire got going at the end that Leicester had a breath of fresh air.
It's, I mean, it's great for the crowd here. They are absolutely loving it, aren't they?
They're well into it. They're creating a terrific atmosphere, and now really close to call. I thought Leicester finished that last 2 minutes really strong, but I'm still really impressed with Sheffield, and in particular BJ to me has been the player of the first half, and I've also been really impressed with Olu Babalolo, particularly at the defensive on the floor. He's done a terrific job on Andrew Sullivan.
We just saw Rob Paternoster just walk past us at half-time there. He was absolutely fuming. He's angry. But his team have started to pull it back, but towards the end there, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Rob's just got to stay cool. He mustn't pass that anger onto his team, because they did finish that last 2 minutes the stronger of the two. And I think that what he's going to be doing, he's going to be looking how he can get Pavel Levonsky more into the game and Andrew Sullivan. At the end of the first quarter, 16 of the 21 Leicester points came from guards.
What will he be asking them at half-time then, bearing in mind the fact he'll have to try and rein in that anger that we saw a few moments ago?
Yeah, I think he's going to want to see more ball movement from them. there's been maybe, in his opinion, too many individual efforts, particularly trying to score around the Sheffield basket. Sheffield interior defence has been strong. It's held out. Rob, Rob's a ball movement coach. He won't be happy with that aspect of his team's performance.
Dave, thanks very much for the moment. Well, as you may or may not know, it's been an absolute emotional roller coaster for fans of basketball in this country over the last few weeks and months. They had their funding taken away and then to a certain extent reinstated. Here's what happened, and let's look at the feature.
When the Eagles faced the Riders for the BBL Cup at a sold-out NIA in Birmingham, everything was looking rosy for British basketball. With the new TV deal for the NBA on Sky, as well as the O2 Arena hosting a sold-out NBA game the following week, basketball was enjoying a huge renaissance and spike in popularity. When the government announced that funding for the sport was not only being cut but completely withdrawn, a dark cloud began to descend over the domestic game. Intervention was required, and after an e-petition signed by thousands and a letter of pleading to David Cameron from NBA star Luol Deng, the message seemed to get through.
Well, Dave, obviously you've been involved with the sport for so many years in this country. How did you feel when you heard about that announcement that the funding was being cut?
Well, I won't say I was in a state of shock, but I mean, the decision just didn't make any sense at all to me. We were ranked something like 70th going into the Olympics. We beat China, we took Spain to 1 point. Maybe the performance against Australia wasn't what we would have wanted from the men's point of view. But I mean, we finished really creditable performance. And the women, in my opinion, probably performed better than the men. So, to come from that far behind and get into the world's elite and perform on one of the biggest stages in the world, and then to see that funding go was hard to take.
OK, well, let's join Dan Routledge, who is courtside and can bring us a little bit more on this. Dan.
Well, Roger, the story about the funding of British basketball, we've all heard it, but take yourself back to when you first heard that British basketball wasn't going to be funded. What was your initial reaction?
Complete shock, Dan. Complete shock. I mean, we'd not been expecting that, particularly with the achievement that we'd had over the 5 or 6 years prior to the Olympics. Just left us a bit numb, to be honest.
And then you saw the reaction. We saw BBL players wearing the T-shirts, fans signing the website. We saw Luol Deng writing to the Prime Minister. The reaction from the sport as a whole must have been really pleasing.
Well, it's fantastic, and it's a great opportunity to be able to say thank you to all of those people. Whether it's an ordinary spectator or the fantastic achievement of having a political debate in Parliament about basketball, it just shows the power of the sport when it all comes together and works together. So big thanks to everybody, and let's keep that sort of thing going.
And a lot of people talk about the elite funding, what's going on at the top level, but this has an impact on grassroots as well.
Oh, it's got to. I mean, basketball is one of only 5 Olympic sports with over 100,000 young people aged 16 to 25 playing once a week. That shows the reach of the sport, so we've got to keep on working to make sure that basketball gets what it's due.
And what do you think the long-term future is for basketball after this change of heart?
Well, I think the long-term future of the sport is rosy. We've got some great young talent coming through for both men and women. We've got a great product in the BBL that's now developing even more. International basketball develops, but most importantly of all, we get the sport in every local community in the country. I think they're the important things.
Thanks for talking to us, Roger. Good luck for the future. Back over to Tony.
Thanks very much indeed. I suppose that is absolutely key, isn't it? The fact that there may not have been a medal at London 2012, but there are so many people involved at grassroots and there are so many fans of the sport as well.
Yeah, as Roger has just said, the figures of participation between 16 and 19 age group and 11 to 14 is really impressive. Kids love the sport, and I think also he made a really valid point about getting out and winning the hearts and minds of the kids in the community. It's the kids that are the future. We've seen on display today a terrific young talent in Jamal Anderson, young 22-year-old playing for Leicester Riders. That should inspire every young British kid that they can play at this level. This is a terrific advert for the sport today.
It really is, and fans of all ages enjoying this today. We've had plenty of tweets. You can tweet as well. It's at BBL Official. And let me read you a couple of them. David Bell says, Jemison and Holmes are still doing it for me. Sully, so influential. I'm sure you'd probably agree with that. And this one is from someone called Monsieur Arnaud, who says the underdogs are playing like top dogs. They are, aren't they?
They are. They've shaded that first half. We've got to keep Leicester in the frame because of that strong comeback. but I've been really, really impressed with the Sharks. I mean, you know, Atiba's done his homework. At the moment, we haven't seen a lot of this fearsome Leicester zone. Maybe Rob's keeping that up his sleeve for the second half. I think one of the biggest factors in this first half, and yet Sheffield are still ahead, was those 2 early fouls to Mike Tuck. I think Atiba made absolutely the right decision to keep him on the bench in the second quarter, so he's got the full 20 minutes if he needs him in the second half.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what happens in the next few minutes. Leicester are behind, but as they've proved so many times, they're brilliant at fighting back and at coming back. What will happen? How much do Leicester want it? The third quarter next. Welcome back. It's one of the most eagerly anticipated days in the BBL calendar, the BBL Trophy final in this brand new arena in Glasgow. And the Sheffield Sharks lead the Leicester Riders by just 3 points. It's an absolute thriller. We're ready for the third quarter. Back to your commentators, Vince and Dan.
Thanks very much, Tony. Rob Paternostro sitting there. Interestingly, Riders out long before Sheffield. Sheffield used, I think, 13.5 minutes of that 15-minute half-time break in the locker room. Not often you see teams staying in that long, Vince.
No, not at all. And not only that, they haven't taken one single shot against that basket. They just came in, regrouped, and came out onto the floor. Interesting. In contrast, the Riders here warming up long before the tip-off for the second half, and Coach Paternostro and his coaching staff in long conversations with Zaire Taylor.
It's Holmes who has it. Holmes, who had the hot hand in the first half, only missed a 3 from inside his own half. Other than that, he'd been 3 of 3 from behind the arc. He leads all scorers with 15. Bridge bouncing it inside. Tuck, who spent a lot of time on the bench in foul trouble, trying to re-establish himself in this game.
Really was hoping for a foul on that move there on Anthony Rowe. As the shot clock runs down to 3 seconds, they're going to have to come up with a quick one. Ball's in the hands of Bridge.
Gets it to Jemison. I don't think he saw it. He got shouted at, and it's a 24-second violation.
Yes.
I don't think Jemison realised the shot clock was so low, and it was only because somebody shouted down the court at him, shoot, that he did.
Critical, critical. Every possession is going to be critical. You come out of the locker room, you haven't warmed up. Are you sharp mentally? Never mind physically. Turnover to start the game.
Taylor round the screen. Out to Kuznard, head fake, steps underneath, hand in his face, knocks it down again.
There's Mr. Big Shot. Zaire Taylor is who we normally expect, but it's Kuznard, the MVP of the cup final, wanting to get things going early for the Riders.
He's only missed 1 shot in the game so far, is Kuznard. 13 points to his name.
Yeah,
Jemison along the baseline draws the foul.
I like that matchup. Jemison Reno, another confident player, started a little shakily when he joined the Sharks, but really coming into his own. Real strong power baseline drive on Lazonski. Big shoulders, taking the contact and finishing.
And actually finishing from behind the basket. Had to reach back to get that one in front of the backboard.
You always love it when they finish with that move so that he goes to become an M1.
And he can quite convert, in fact. It bobbles in for him. And the Sharks lead out to 4.
Sullivan bringing the ball up.
Hands it over to Taylor. Taylor turns the corner. Taylor attacks the basket under pressure. I think he was looking for a whistle. He wasn't going to get one.
Nope,
and it's off the side of the board for a Sheffield possession.
3-0 second half. Okay, good job by the Sharks now. They're getting extended pressure on the guards, and they get Babalola with no defense bringing the ball up the floor. Ooh,
Holmes turns around, dumps off to Jemison. Jemison finishes it for 2.
Credit the assist, BJ, the big man Holmes.
Kuznard. Sullivan. Just a little grimace there from Babalola. I don't know if he was just annoyed that he got there a bit later. Thought for a second he might have hurt himself. Deep one from Kuznard off the back of the ring, and Babalola gets the rebound.
And gathers
no, he's definitely struggling a little bit, isn't he, Babalola?
Yeah, he's limping there.
He's obviously got that long strapping on his leg as Tuck tries to go to work on Rowe. Tuck, wow. Strong move from Mike Tuck.
Tuck is, he likes that move because, Rowe is no slouch on the defensive end, and he was draped all over him. But still, Mike Tuck finding the bucket.
Taylor. It's down now to Rowe.
That's thrown cross court to Pavel Lasonsky. Under pressure from the free throw line. Good work from Jemison.
2 Sharks on the rebound.
Again, the Sharks can pull out to a double-figure lead here.
Jemison's right there.
Good hands from Taylor. Steals it away. Ball loose. Comes back out to Holmes. Jemison. Cross court to Bridge. On to Babalola. Babalola drives to the hole. Misses the lane. Tuck is there. But he can't hang on. It was not loose, and it's Ryder's ball.
I think Coach Paternostro is going small. Calvo comes in. Lazonsky takes the seat.
And it's Jorge Calvo who brings the ball forward for Leicester. Hands over to Kuzanov. Taylor. Back to Kuzanov. Drives through. Out to Calvo. Calvo, long 2. Thinks about it and does drop for it.
Gets the bubble. He needed that.
Full court pressure from Calvo on Holmes. Now he backs away. Bridge. Thrown towards Tuck. He gets to him and Tuck finishes off. One of them passes has to be right on the money.
Right on the money it was, Dan. Being extremely efficient, Mike Tuck. Really efficient. He touches the ball and is putting it in the basket.
Kuzanov is caught as he fires up that shot. He will go to the free throw line.
A little bit too much defense from Andrew Bridge. Foul on Kuzanov. Bridge checks out. In comes the confident Nick Lewis. There's a hit on the side of the arm. Kuzanov will shoot 2.
Jamal Anderson will come back in for Rowe.
Well,
and now Kuzanov can take his 2 free throws.
Absolutely. Sorry, Danny. I was just going to say the Riders already back to shuffling the pack. You know, this is an interesting dilemma, if you want to use that term, because obviously Coach Paternostro is going deep into his bench, using all the players. The Sharks know exactly what they have to do. They know who's going to have to play the big minutes. They know who's going to have to come in and help. And when you're in a situation like the Sharks are in, where they just are not finding rhythm, that doesn't necessarily help the rhythm.
Holmes drives in, off the mark, rebounds Sullivan. Looking for some options, pushes it down court, gets it to Anderson. Anderson, good defense from Tuck, but he finished it.
Great concentration from Anderson.
Oh, that's stolen away, not quite by Zaire Taylor. Again, a bit of a sloppy pass in bounds.
Yeah, extended defense here, and again, you know, interesting to see how these benches match up. You know, bench players on the floor for both teams. The Riders' defense is extended right to the front of those guards. You're going to have to put that ball in.
It's thrown away to Kuzanov, and again, the pressure on the ball. They couldn't get a pass in. He had to throw it, or it's a 5-second violation. Leicester come up with the steal.
Absolutely. Riders' defense, Riders' length of arms causing a problem. But the Sheffield Sharks, they're not setting screens. They're not opening up. They're just trying to beat people off of foot speed. Well, you're not going to beat this Riders' defense off of foot speed.
Calvo will inbound for Leicester from the side. Kuzanov has it. Looks to penetrate to the glass. Beautiful move.
Yep. Right, the ball was inbounded quickly this time. The Sheffield Sharks get it. Hold on to their 4-point lead.
Holmes looking to penetrate, dumps it off. The Singh blocked again by Sullivan. He's still got it in there. He kicks it out to Lewis. Lewis fires up for 3 and hits.
Listen, see that, Danny? He not only shot that ball, but it was in the face of Zaire Taylor talking to him. That young fella is full of confidence.
Kuzanov fakes a long-range 3. Out to Calvo. Gets it back to Spaniard. And there's a foul on B.J. Holmes for the hold.
The long-range eyesight of the referee, spotting an arm on an arm there from B.J. Holmes, holding on to Jorge Calvo.
Here's another look at the block. Sullivan with the block, but Sheffield managed to keep it, and Lewis just had enough on that one.
There he is, just letting Zaire Taylor know his name is Nick Lewis.
Timeout has been called in the ball game. The Sheffield Sharks leading by 7. Now, before the game, we spoke to Barry Lamble and asked him about what he thought of his coach, Rob Paternoster.
Well, Rob's been the driving force of the Leicester Riders now for the last 6 years, and as you've seen, it's been improvement on improvement each season. I mean, last year we got to play our finals, and I know he wanted to bring back a solid team, and he's done that again. He's brought in the defensive team that really wants to work hard, and everyone sees the crazy side of him during the game, but what I don't see is off the court in training when he does a really good job, and he's got real good man management skills, and everyone wants to play hard for him and work hard.
Well, that's the Riders' captain's view. He's been there longer than anybody else at Leicester. I think he played with Rob, actually. I think they both played at Leicester 7 or 8 years ago, was it? But it's a testament to Rob Paternoster how this team has progressed over the years.
Well, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't want to work hard for a coach like that? You know, when Rob used to play, he was passionate. He hustled for every single possession, and he had a never-say-die attitude, and he's instilled that in his young guns.
Here's Kuznard, gets it to Rowe. Rowe with the jump shot, knocks it down all straight.
That's his spot, 15, 18 feet. He'll knock that down all day long.
Still, though, the Sharks lead by 5 with 5 to play here in the third period. Gachet.
Good patience, Gachet.
Babalola. Babalola driving along baseline, gets it out. Ball moves on to Gachet. They've got to shoot here. Gets to Babalola, gets it off in time. It doesn't go. Rowe pulls down the rebound.
Well, that's not terrible. They used all the shot clock. They get a stop here. We're back where we are, but we're trying to post up BJ Holmes here with the bigger Kuznard. Ooh!
Kuznard
Great
under pressure, gets it to Rowe.
Great help from Babalola.
Kuznard from behind the arc for 3, hits it! Another one from downtown for Jay Kuznard.
Big-time players show up in big games. Jay Kuznard letting everybody know it wasn't a one-off being the MVP of that cup final. He wants the taste of it again.
Holmes turns the corner out to Gachet. Gachet pulls up mid-range. Way too long on that. Leicester can tie the game here.
Critical time for the Sharks. They need a stop as bad as anything else right now, because the Leicester fans are going to go nuts if this net is rippled.
Rowe. Rowe drives to the basket. Rowe levels the game at 51. Important couple of minutes here in this BBL Trophy final. Lewis driving in, zips it cross court. There's Holmes in the corner for 3. Another one! His 4th of the game. He's only missed one from inside his own half.
BJ Holmes. Wow, big shot from the young fella.
Calvo to Rowe. Rowe from 18 feet, little short, tipped by Holmes. Babalola out on his own. Kuznard will chase him back, won't catch him, and Babalola jams it down. And having been level for a moment, the Sharks have pulled clear again.
You know what? That's going to fill him with confidence. BJ Holmes makes a big bucket. Babalola throws it down, letting them know that they're not sticking the back seat. Andrew Sullivan doesn't like this pressure from Gachet. He's going to go right at him.
And he doesn't quite get there, but it's tipped in by Anderson.
Yep. Zach Gachet all over Drew Sullivan. Drew Sullivan saying to the referees, get him off me.
Holmes. Oh, he found a little gap. Oh, it bubbled out for him, though.
Too much English, and it's spun right back out. BJ Holmes. This is now a big-time cup final, Daniel. We wondered how good this was going to be. This is a very good trophy final.
Rowe is short. Holmes in there amongst the big boys. Keeps it alive, and there's going to be a foul with a push on Rowe.
Poor old BJ Holmes, always in trouble on that end of the floor.
Well, over on the sidelines, Mark Woods has the latest. What can you tell us, Mark?
Well, one of the things that Rob had in nursery has been repeating in timeouts is about doing the fundamentals right. He was really unhappy with the first half of the way his team was rebounding and boxing out, and said they had to just do those little things. He doesn't believe this game's going to come down to strategy. For him, it's all about heart and hustle right now. As for Sheffield, well, it's Tebow Lyons saying that for him the biggest thing is making sure they take care of the ball. They've been doing a good job, but now they have to keep on going.
Well, Sheffield only 4 turnovers in the game. They are doing a good job of keeping hold of it, and Sheffield winning the boards. That was the thing Rob was talking about.
Well, absolutely, and really, you know, it comes down to having a solid point guard, which they've got in BJ Holmes, and he's really led them.
Babalola doesn't quite go. Tuck with the offensive rebound, fires it back in for 2. Great play from Mike Tuck.
Everything going well for the Sharks. The triangle, Jamison, Tuck and Babalola really battling hard against the big men from Leicester.
Taylor round the screen. Taylor gets it to Calvo in the corner for 3. Oh, halfway down for Jorge Calvo, but out.
Yep. I want to see Cousinard. I want to see Taylor taking those shots. BJ Holmes pulling the strings.
Holmes. High screen from Tuck is there. Holmes pulls up for 3. Oh, he just can't miss! It's unbelievable!
BJ Holmes putting them to the sword from long range.
His 5th three-pointer of the game. And I repeat, the only one he missed was the halfway line heave.
We may have to check out the most three-pointers in the trophy final, Daniel.
Oh, that's thrown back. Will Taylor get there before the halfway line? Yes, he will.
He's going to put this up.
Taylor, deflected by Babalola. It's out of bounds. It's a Riders' ball. There are 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Drew Sullivan trying to calm his men down, talking to Zaire Taylor. We don't need to force it.
Most three-pointers in a game, Vince, 5. He's equaled the record.
Well, I thought so. Not from any particular memory, but just a wild guess, Daniel.
Lewis Young, Ronnie Baker, 1988 and 1999. It would be great memory if you could pick those 2 stats out.
A big shout out to Ronnie Baker. I know he's down at Crystal Palace watching this game. Hey, Ronnie, your record's looking on the line here from the man with a big heart, BJ Holmes.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Leicester have to get a quick one up here.
Here it comes.
Cousinard fires it up straight away off the back of the ring. Sullivan will get there first, and he's fouled by Babalola.
You've got to get that second effort rebound. Great hustle. Babalola couldn't quite get there. Into the last 30 seconds in this quarter, and it's still the Sharks by 8.
And you've got to say, Sheffield have been in the lead for most of this game. They've looked the more likely of the 2 teams.
Well, you know what, Daniel? No one's been confused about what the Sharks are trying to do. They know exactly what they're trying to do. The Riders with their mix and match. Ooh, foul is called on Andrew Bridge on fouling Lozonski.
Yeah.
But yes, the Riders, you know, they've been shuffling the pack, and Rob hasn't found the one that works for him. You know, Cousinard hit one every now and again. Here's Lozonski. I'm not sure where that was there, but anyway, he's going to the line for 2. And a quiet word. One of our more experienced referees. Great to be in the final.
Lozonski misses the front end of the free throw. Leicester have missed 5 from this distance now. Missed them both. Big free throws to miss.
The last possession belongs to the Sharks.
And they can stretch this to a double-figure lead.
Too much ball handling here, I think, but Nick Lewis knows what he's doing.
Babalola looks at the clock. Babalola loses the handle twice, gets it back, he's got to shoot, it was too late.
That's
too
okay.
late.
Again, you know, when you're in charge, like the Sharks are in this final, it really doesn't matter whether you score. Use the shot clock, you're still ahead, they can't come back at you.
Wow. We have a shot on the cards here at the Emirates Arena in Glasgow. It's the underdog Sharks who lead the Leicester Riders by 8 points at the end of the 3rd quarter. We will have 4th quarter action when we return. Welcome back to Glasgow. We have 10 minutes to play in the BBL Trophy Final.
The Sheffield Sharks looking to get their hands on this trophy for the second time in their history. Leicester have never won it. Leicester, big favourites coming into the game, but they are 8 points down with 10 to play, Vince.
Critical 10 minutes. We saw Andrew Bridge just then. You talk about experience. The guy with 19 Winners' medals. He's infused his team about what it means to have a trophy. And BJ Holmes has listened to that and is playing out of his skin. As we now see a box-and-one defense, Daniel, on Jay Cousinard. The rest of the Sharks in a box around the key, protecting it. And they've got Babalola chasing Cousinard and stopping him getting the shot. And it works.
As Anderson tried to get the rebound, Jemison got there first. And once again, with the fourth quarter underway, Sheffield have an opportunity to open a double-figure lead. Oh, there's some pushing and shoving between Tuck and Lasonsky.
Well, they've got to keep fighting. This is for all the chips, Daniel.
Good defense from Sullivan. Can he keep it in bounds?
No.
Yes, he can, but only to Sheffield.
Oh,
and there's a shot clock violation going on.
Wow.
Great hustle from Sullivan. That would have been a Sheffield ball if he doesn't dive on the floor here to keep it abound.
Well, he forced Jemison into that loose ball, into that terrible shot. Reese thought he'd rescued it, but slipped and lost the possession. But actually, he's got it back because he didn't get a shot up in that last second.
Taylor. Cross court. Zaire Taylor again. Sullivan. Hands it back to Taylor. Fakes it for three.
Confused now, the Riders on offense.
Rose shot doesn't go. Lasonsky, does he get it? No, because Bridge knocks it loose.
DJ Holmes.
No score yet in this fourth quarter, so still the Sharks have the chance to extend their lead. Holmes to the basket. Oh, he lost it. Did he lose it or did Rowe touch it? Doesn't matter, it's out of bounds. It's a Leicester ball.
I thought Rowe had knocked that out. I thought we could have let it go, but Babalola tried to save it.
Let's see. He goes up.
Oh, no, he lost
like
it.
Just
he lost
came out
it.
of his hand.
Yeah.
Rowe intimidated him, certainly put him off, made it difficult for him. Taylor. Sullivan. Round the screen, they jump out at him. Still Sullivan goes, little stop and go, fall away. Calvo catches it, rebounds, tipped away by
it was Cousinard who kept it alive.
Taylor's three doesn't go. Holmes will save it, lobs it towards Tuck and gets it back.
Look at
Great
this.
play. Bridge, down low to Babalola. Babalola lays it in, and at the start of the show, Tony offered you big odds on the Sharks with 8 minutes to go, and you regret not taking them.
10-1, he said, but you know what? There's still 7.5 minutes to go. You know, the Leicester Riders have worked hard to get this far. Their team still has an opportunity to work. But the Sharks have found an inner spirit that really is defying all the odds.
Tuck round to Babalola.
Here comes Holmes.
Running round the screen, dumps it off to Jemison. Jemison knocks it in, and Sheffield very much in control of this BBL Trophy final. They force Rob Paternostro into a timeout. 7:22 on the clock. Sharks by 10.
5-foot lay-ins, Daniel. 5-foot lay-in Babalola. 5-foot lay-in Jemison. If you let them have those shots at the bucket, I don't care how many points you restrict the opposition to, they will score. Coach Paternostro has got to go deep now into that playbook and find some other way to halt the confidence of the high-flying Sheffield Sharks.
But we saw at the end of the first half how Sheffield had a big lead, and then Leicester somehow closed it down and pulled it back. It's out to 12 now, Vince. Biggest lead of the game. Sheffield are on the brink here the next couple of minutes. If they can keep this at this distance, they'll be right there.
That's exactly what Mike Tuck was just telling his team. It's right now. The trophy is being decided in these next 2 minutes. No transition buckets for Leicester. No fast breaks for Leicester. No dunks for Leicester. All of that comes from their suffocating defense. BJ Holmes and the confidence that he's instilled into the team, the confidence of Nick Lewis and the sheer determination of Bridge and Tuck have made the Sharks just basically look past that defense on the Riders and focus on Coach Atiba Lyons' game plan.
Well, out come the Riders from their timeout. Here come the Sharks now. And I don't think too many people would have picked a 12-point Sheffield lead with 7:22 to go, but that's exactly what we have here.
Absolutely. Now, we talked earlier on, Dan, and I said the Riders want a free-scoring offensive team. It was about their defense. We have a massive shuffle in the pack now. We've got no bigs on the floor, which tells me Coach Paternoster is going full court defensively.
Anderson hands it over to Sullivan. Sullivan round the screen. Taylor.
Gonna find Cousinard on the right.
Taylor penetrates, gets it out to Sullivan with the head fake. Sullivan fires up under pressure. Oh boy! What a shot from Sullivan.
He leaned in, bent and raised up to get that one. Here's the extended defense.
First,
here he comes.
Bucket of the quarter for the Riders. Tough. Babalola.
There you go. There is no rush. Holmes says we are up 12. Use the clock.
Holmes round the screen. Still going. BJ Holmes to the basket.
Oh,
gets it out to Babalola.
Pass.
Babalola to the runner. He's short. And that's tipped out of bounds. He probably should have shot it when he caught it.
Probably should have, but again, Daniel, 24 seconds has gone by. That shot clock went off as the ball went out of bounds. It's still a 10-point lead to the Sharks. I know they didn't score, but really, it's all about now restricting the Riders, because the Riders have got to go 2-1 on buckets.
Calvo. Round to Cousinard. Sullivan.
Someone needs to help Tuck right here.
Out to Taylor. Taylor for three. Hits it! Zaire Taylor with another three.
Credit the assist, Andrew Sullivan.
7 points between them. Babalola. Into the double team. He's under pressure.
Got to be strong. And
gets
he finds
it to Bridge. Bridge onto Jemison. Jemison is blocked by Sullivan. Here comes Cousinard.
The last block of significance by Sullivan was in the trophy final.
I think that's on, yeah, it is on Anderson. A little moving screen to allow Cousinard to get to the basket.
Well spotted, Daniel. I didn't see that. I was just going off on the block shot by Andrew Sullivan, which sparked them in the cup final. I thought was going to spark them here. There it is. As Tuck had an easy, Jemison had an easy two. Oh, I see, yes. I saw the screen. You got to throw it in.
Got to get it in. 5-second violation. It's the second time the Sharks have been under pressure like that. The first time they threw it in and turned it over, that time Bridge had to take the 5 seconds.
Well, you know, Mike Tuck was standing right there in front of Bridge, but he couldn't see it. But what I'm going to credit Bridge for, he didn't throw it away. He said, you know what, I can't find anybody. We're just going to have to play defense for another 24 seconds.
Taylor drives in. Taylor with the head fake, gets it round. Calvo. Calvo penetrates out towards Taylor. He does get it. Taylor fires up for another one. That one's off the mark.
There you go. So really, Bridge didn't pay the price. He just had his guys work hard again. My goodness.
Holmes. Tuck. Lobbed inside to Jemison. Jemison is fouled.
Yep.
Sullivan did enough to make sure he wasn't going to the line for a bonus.
This is a really creditable job that Coach Lyons has done with his team. This team was going nowhere but under 4 months ago. He made the changes necessary. Jemison, one of the guys he brought inside to replace the departed players, and he's having an impact here, just as is the other gentleman, BJ Holmes.
Jemison doesn't get the roll on that one. Yeah, you think back to the early season and the Sharks, they got off to a slow start, lots of negative vibes around the club, but they stuck together, and here they are a couple of minutes, 5 minutes away from a trophy, and they get an offensive rebound, and Jemison won't miss from there.
Absolutely, you know, and that's the thing, you know, I never understand those kind of vibes. You know, teams come in bunches. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, and you know, no one wants to put a team on the floor that doesn't win or doesn't challenge. But actually, Coach Atiba Lyons shrugged all of that up. You know, a player himself of note with the Sharks, he believed in his system, and he found the players he would execute. And here they are, BJ Holmes with the ball, Jemison with the dunk, and he draws the foul on Jay Cousinard. That is a sign to me, Daniel, that the Riders are losing their head. There was no need to foul BJ Holmes 70 feet from the basket.
Well, I think Cousinard was a little frustrated that he didn't make the three-point shot, and that's...
He's going to have to get it over, 4 seconds to get it over.
He does get it over, and they've got a man over as well, but it's knocked loose by Anderson. Calvo comes up with it. Taylor has it, has Anderson ahead of him, doesn't need him, goes alone. Zaire Taylor to the basket.
Is he the only scorer down in this quarter? There's another foul. Cousinard's going to lose himself from this game if he doesn't be careful.
Kuznov whistled for the foul as he pressured up court. Sullivan made a basket earlier.
Right.
But Taylor has been prominent here down the stretch.
It's a 7-point game with 4.5 to play. You've got to love the BBL Trophy final.
Knocked loose by Taylor, and that's an unsportsmanlike foul called against Mike Tuck.
Wow.
Because he had the ball knocked away. I think he thought he was fouled.
I think he thought he was fouled, and he was just trying to recover the ball. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
There's the ball.
Knocked away there, and then, wow.
Gee whiz.
With 4:26 to go in the trophy final. An unsportsmanlike foul, which of course is 2 shots and possession of the ball for the Riders.
Well, big play that one, Daniel, a big play. I thought Tuck was fouled, and I thought if the referees didn't make that call, they could have let the flailing arms go. But you know what? This is what finals are all about. It's all about character. Mike Tuck has been solidly determined the whole way through.
Well, Sheffield have to forget about that call. They're still in, even if Leicester, best case scenario, cut this down, they will still have some sort of lead here with 4.5 minutes to go.
Absolutely. We just hope it doesn't become a 5-point play with 2 free throws and a 3-pointer from Jay Kuzanan. You know, what the Sharks will be thinking is, you know what, it's all been against us all along anyway. We came here without Williams. We came against the top team in the BBL right now, the Leicester Riders. Let's just get our heads up and just play as hard as we've been playing for the past 3.5 quarters. There's only 4 minutes, 26 seconds to go. Can they go point for point with the Leicester Riders? If they can, the trophy is theirs.
Well, the Riders have not been good from the free throw line. That's another thing to bear in mind. Kuznov, who's at the line, has only been 2 of 5 from this distance. Leicester shooting 50% as a team. Got to make free throws down the stretch.
Rebounds and free throws, that's where titles are won.
That one was as clean as you like.
Yeah.
He's up to 19, team leading scorer. And he stays at 19.
Well, you said 50%, Daniel, and that's what we got. Jay Kuzanan, MVP of the Cup final, trying to bring his Leicester Riders through.
Kuzanan comes to the halfway line to inbound it.
We've still got the more mobile Riders team on the floor. No big men. Andrew Sullivan, the biggest on the floor.
Calvo comes up to get the pass. Round the screen. Gets it to Sullivan. Sullivan drives in. Good hands from Babalola. It will be a Leicester ball. Babalola just knocked that away from Sullivan.
I think Sullivan will inbounds this one for the Riders, Daniel. It's getting down towards money time.
Oh, Tuck's got a little hand on that. That'll still be a Leicester ball.
I think that's for you there, Dan.
Well, I thought it was going to you, Vince.
Don't want to see my free throws around there.
Sullivan again to inbound. This time they get it in cleanly to Kuznov. Kuznov drives past Tuck, takes it to the hole and lays it in for 2. Strong move.
Great defensive effort, great offensive effort. Tuck actually got his hands on that ball, but Kuznov went all the way up.
4 minutes to play, 4 points in the game. Tuck for the Sharks, trying to extend that lead, doesn't go. Sullivan with the rebound, here he comes. Sullivan has Taylor with him, gives it to Taylor. Taylor gets caught on the baseline and gets it out. Just had to dance along the line there, did well to stay in bounds.
Big play here, because they got 3 points out of that unsportsmanlike foul. Here goes another shot in the second here, Dan, I can see it coming.
Taylor kicks it out. Calvo for 3. Oh, he's had a couple of them bobble out. Anderson with the rebound.
I just don't know why he's shooting so many of them. Get it to Taylor, get it to Kuznov.
Kuznov trying to back down Holmes. It's on to Taylor. Taylor for 3. Big shot, and he hits it again. He always hits big shots.
That's the man who should be shooting the threes. Calvo is great at passing the ball, finding the open man.
It's a 1-point game here in the BBL Trophy final. What a thriller with 3 minutes to play. Holmes trying to lose Calvo, does for a second. Jamison wants it, now he offers the screen. Shot clock down to 6. Holmes drives baseline. Holmes is fouled by Calvo. Leicester over the limit, so that will be 2 free throws. In fact, Leicester, yeah, they are over the limit. Referee originally said it was an end-line ball, but it will be 2 shots. Well, we talked about Leicester's woes from the free throw line. Sheffield, 8 of 11, doing well from this distance.
Wow.
BJ Holmes not been there yet today. But he shot so well, you just expect him to make these. And he is a 91% free throw shooter.
Yeah, he'll be good with this. The issue is, has all the pressure of the Riders worn him out down to the last 3 minutes? Because these next 2 minutes 49, actually, Daniel, the ball must be in Holmes' hands 90% of the time if you have any chance here.
Calvo around the screen. Calvo drives in, kicks it out. It's a bit high for Anderson. Babalola has it. Sullivan running back. Babalola to the basket, misses it. Jefferson with the rebound, misses. Tuck with the rebound. Tuck trying to get it out, throws it towards Holmes, and Holmes did well to get that because Calvo was all over right there.
The pint-sized Holmes rose high into the sky to pull that down. Critical possession right here. Every one of them critical.
Holmes, what a shot. Oh, thought it was going in. Sullivan with the rebound.
I think he switched hands on that drive.
He did. Taylor, that's an offensive. Just put that little arm out. Down went Bridge, and the foul is called offensively against Zaire Taylor.
Good call by the referees there. I want to see the ball in Calvo's hands, looking for the open Taylor or the open Cousinal. Rob Paternostro keeping them calm, trying to make sure no one's rushing into anything. We just need to be... Oh, here we go.
He was a little behind Bridge, wasn't it? He did well to reach.
Where's Holmes? Where's Holmes?
With 2 minutes to play, folks. It's a tight ball game. Tuck out to Babalola. Holmes can't get the ball. Babalola with the shot doesn't go. Tuck in there. Saved by Taylor. Ball is loose. Kuznard has it.
It's 4 on 4. There's 2 down. Tuck trying to get back into play.
Kuznard to the basket, too strong, tips it, doesn't go, gets his own rebound again, it's blocked. What a block by Jemison.
Demetrius Jemison says, not in my house. 1:33, and it's a 3-point game. Here he comes. Take that Moulton out of here.
Well, thank goodness, with 93 seconds to go, a timeout's been called. Vince, we can gain our breath, but what a tremendous ball game.
Fantastic advert for the British game, the BBL Trophy final, going right down to the wire, Daniel. The Sheffield Sharks came in here, no one gave them a prayer, and absolutely are showing what pride means in a cup final. The Riders are having to dig really deep to live with them. BJ Holmes, wow, what can you say?
BJ Holmes has been sensational in this game. Leicester, though, have possession of the ball here. This is a big possession for them. They need a score, cut it down to 1, maybe even tie the game.
I think right now they need any score, and we're into a world. We are a one-possession game. We just need any score. But really, the last few possessions, they've been able, the Riders have been able to deny BJ Holmes the ball. The chances for the Sharks lessen if he doesn't have it in his hands.
Well, it's hard when he's under so much pressure to find him with that. But.
Absolutely. I think it's Calvo that's doing a great job on denying him movement. But really, we're going to end up here with about 3 possessions left for the Sharks. They're going to have to make sure 2 of those end up in the hand of BJ Holmes.
Well, this is a vital play in the destiny of the BBL Trophy final for Sheffield defensively, for Leicester offensively. A big, big opportunity here for Sheffield to deny Leicester.
I don't know why there was a reset there, Daniel. I thought that block shot went out of bounds, but there's been a reset.
Taylor to the basket, gets it out to Calvo to tie it. Oh, he's got one in this time. He hits the 3, and Jorge Calvo ties the game. What a shot. He's had a few rim out, but that one certainly didn't.
Is that his first 3 in the game, Daniel? Because my goodness, what a time to hit your first 3-pointer.
Holmes is just briefly double teamed. He backs out, looks at the shot clock. It's halfway through now.
We talked about how good this game was going to be. This is a great game.
Holmes backs out, 5 on the clock. He fires up for 3. He's missed one. Tuck, what a rebound. Knocked loose though. Ball is Sheffield's.
My goodness.
Great work from Mike Tuck on the offensive glass to keep that alive.
I don't even know how he got it. He can hardly lift his feet off the floor. Look, here he goes, reaches over and saves the ball. But somehow Andrew Sullivan nearly packed it in there, but couldn't keep hold of it. Wow.
Wow, what a game. 55 seconds left in regulation, Vince.
Yes, I was just going to say, dare we say that old word, overtime.
We've never had overtime in a trophy final. I don't think we've ever had overtime in any BBL final. Can't remember any off the top of my head.
Well, now you've said that, who knows? We may well get one right here.
It's certainly a possibility with 55 seconds to go. Important play for Sheffield to try and regain the lead. Oh no, he's thrown it away. Babalola was there. Babalola went the other way, Bridge through it, he's turned it over.
It's okay, look at BJ Holmes straight away talking to his guys. Mike Tuck, come on, don't worry about it, they're saying to Olu. Forget it, let's go, he said.
So now Riders with the pressure to try and take the lead. Taylor. Anderson coming up for the high screen. Anderson.
Oh, they better go.
Taylor round. Taylor under pressure, throws it up. It's tipped out to Kuznar. Big shot for 3. No, it doesn't go. Calvo tips it up. Calvo comes down with it. And Leicester can have another go with 34 seconds to go. Sheffield should get the ball back.
It's one possession each, Daniel. It's one possession each.
What a game. 20 seconds now to play.
He's going to attack and find a shooter.
Kuznar.
Oh, he's going all the way. He's going all the way.
Kuznar throws it away. Holmes can win it here. Holmes is off and running. Holmes is missed. Foul called. Foul called. 8 seconds to go. And BJ Holmes will go to the free throw line to try and put Sheffield in front.
Well, there is still a timeout left for the Leicester Riders. BJ Holmes can make 2 here. Coach Paternoster will call a timeout. Here's Cousinard. I thought he was going all the way and he couldn't find a teammate. Presence of mind. BJ Holmes, the smallest man in the building, rises high. Couldn't quite get the and one.
He's bound to make at least one. He's such an excellent foul shooter. He'll probably make them both.
He will make them both. 91% free throw shooter, trying to have some talk from Zaire Taylor. But BJ Holmes has had all of that on the playgrounds growing up back home. He's had all of that in college. And here he is in Glasgow for the Sharks.
Makes them both. Timeout Riders. That advances the ball. Leicester will have 8 seconds to come up with a play to try and either force overtime or win the game. What do you draw up, Vince?
You have to score any bucket. They're going to draw up a play. I fancy Anthony Rowe to return into the game because really we need to get something going to the basket so we can get fouled if we don't get it. Living on a 3-point shot right now isn't what the doctor ordered. This is for all the chips.
And defensively, what does Sheffield do? Sheffield have fouls to give, I think, do they? Do they have fouls to give? Yes, they do. They've got loads of them.
But that's a dangerous play, Daniel, because if you see a foul to give coming up and you rise up, the referee gives you 3 shots. I think what Coach Lyons will be saying is, don't foul on the catch. Don't foul on the catch. 8 seconds is a heck of a long time. See what the Riders want to do. See if they're going inside or outside. Trust your defense, because at the end of the day, that ball hits the ring and the time is going to run out.
It's got to be a smart foul, though, as you say. You can't allow them to get a shot off and then go to the free throw line, although free throws might not be a bad option the way Leicester have shot it.
Yes, that's right. Well, I see Calvo coming out. I see Cousinard. I see Taylor, Anderson, Sullivan. No changes for Coach Paternoster.
One defensive stop for the Sharks. They have fouls to give, so they can use some clock here.
Well, who is the defensive team, Daniel? It's the Riders. Whose championship depends on defense? It's the Sharks.
Calvo to inbound for Leicester. What a finish. Whatever happens, it's going to be an unbelievable finish. Got to get it in. Calvo does get it into Sullivan.
He's going to the basket.
Drives. Sullivan throws it. It's over the top and out of bounds. And Sheffield are almost there. They're almost there. 4 seconds to go. Sheffield are virtually there. We'll have the ball. They will get fouled, but it's surely Sheffield's to win now. Unbelievable.
Well, what can I say, Daniel? The underdog has its day. 4 seconds to go. Coach Paternostro unhappy with something. I'm not sure what. But really, it's all about the poise of Coach Atiba Lions and his Sharks as Andrew Sullivan throws that one high and not so handsome.
If it had gone the other way, the ball would have been live. It would have been an almighty scramble, but it hit the back of the stanchion. I think Paternostro was arguing the previous call down with a BJ Holmes foul, but it doesn't matter now because his team needs to foul straight away. They need to hope they don't make both free throws, and then they need to find a 3 to tie. In 4 seconds, it's almost impossible.
And you have to know that the Sharks will run a play that has BJ Holmes running as quickly as he can.
The other thing is, remember, Sheffield have had a couple of occasions where they've struggled to get the ball in.
Yeah, so I guess we've got to keep an eye on who puts the ball in. The inbounder has been Andrew Bridge mostly up till now.
The ball's been advanced to the front court because of the timeout.
Yes, and I think that's what Coach Atiba would want, because if they lose the ball, at least they're going to lose it down there. It's Babalola to inbounds.
Inbound and catch it, and that should be enough for Sheffield, really. Inbound and catch it, that's all that stands.
BJ, where is he? He can't see it.
They get it in.
Oh, Bridge.
Out of bounds, it's the Leicester ball. They didn't get it in. Oh my goodness, this game is still in the balance.
Wow, that
3
was
seconds to go. Leicester have no timeout. Leicester have no timeouts. They've got to do something.
Well, presumably, Dan, they run the same play.
Well, they've only got 3
was
seconds
inbound in the
for
ball.
it.
He's going to go with Taylor. No, he's looking Taylor off. He's looking Taylor off. No!
It's thrown away. The ball is on the floor. Sheffield are going to wait. Referee's blown the whistle. What's he called? Has he called anything?
What are they doing?
No, is it the end of the game? It is the end of the game. Sheffield have won in the most dramatic circumstances. Wow, what an amazing victory for the Sheffield Sharks out of nowhere. Massive underdog.
Is this the biggest upset, Daniel? The biggest upset by the littlest man. BJ Holmes has led the Sheffield Sharks and Coach Atiba Lions. I feel so happy for Coach Lions. He's fought the demons all season long, and he gets to his party, his final, and he doesn't have Ricard Williams. But you know what? They stay together, they work it together, and they face the mighty machine of the Leicester Riders. And lo and behold, the Sharks, Andrew Bridge, winner's medal number 20.
Bridge, 19 it is, Vince. You got one ahead of him. It's
Give him one, give him an extra one, Daniel.
But his record eighth trophy, and really Leicester, they didn't have a timeout, and they couldn't quite work out what to do with that last play.
I didn't understand that, Daniel. They should have just run the same play they just set up. But then I saw Andrew Sullivan inbounds in the ball, and he looked off Taylor, who could have at least run at the basket.
Well, down on the court, Mark Woods is in there with Andrew Bridge, the record breaker.
Wow.
Andrew, you talked earlier about your first final when you lost to Leicester. You were underdogs today, and you've come out on top. Talk about your feelings today.
I don't even know what to say. We had such a tough start to the season, and to come back and get this win, it's amazing. I started my career in Sheffield, had a couple of tough ones, but this means more than anything. All my championships have been special, but this is unbelievable.
Atiba was talking a lot in timeouts late in the game about protecting the ball, about not making mistakes. A few awkward moments at the end. What really won this game?
Yeah, well, our defense, we got big rebounds when we needed to, and we came up with plays at timely times, and that's what we struggle with against the top teams. But today we put it all together and showed that we can compete. We're just over the moon.
Lots of celebrations going behind you. Go and enjoy them.
Thank you.
Well, he talked about the defense there, and they managed to stop Leicester, 3 times in that last minute?
Absolutely. I mean, we've always talked about the Leicester defense, but, they couldn't find any offense today. The Sharks defense cut them on the back foot. They mixed the zone. They mixed the man. They mixed the box and one. And really, Zion Taylor and his cronies couldn't find a way through.
Well, Leicester, they know how they have to endure what they saw at the other end of the court just a few months ago. It's a terrible thing to have to wait there for your runners-up medal. You just want to get off into the locker.
They inflicted it on the Newcastle Eagles at the NIA, and now they're on the other end. I mean, this is absolutely. I mean, this is probably the best trophy final I've seen, Daniel, because look at the setting here in Glasgow. Absolutely monster crowd, and what a cracker of a match.
Well, it certainly was. It wasn't quite the closest of all time. There have been a couple of one-pointers, but there was only one basket between them, and the team trailing had the ball with 3 seconds to go. They just didn't get enough of a possession to get a shot, but Sheffield, when they needed to down the stretch, did what they had to do. BJ Holmes was immense throughout the game.
BJ Holmes was absolutely amazing, Daniel. I mean, what a guy. He played this game with a smile on his face. You'd have thought, you know, he was in the backyards or back home in Dallas or wherever, just chilling, because, you know, he controlled, he had the Leicester Riders on a string at the end of the day.
Well, he was 5 of 7 from the three-point line.
Wow.
One of them was a heave at the end of the first half. So really, in proper shots, it was 5 of 6 from the three-point line.
Well, that's Ronnie
Immense.
Baker relieved. He's a tied record holder for the most three-pointers. But look at that trophy. Licking their chops. Olu Babalola, Mike Tuck, Colin Singh. Well done to the Sharks.
Well, we're going to do the presentations now of the medals, and it's Leicester who will go up first as the runners-up in the BBL trophy. They've been to the trophy 3 times. They've been beaten now 3 times. They've lost here today by 2 points, and it's certainly, as Jay Kuznor goes up, he filled it up early on. He was their offensive threat.
That's right, he was. You know, the bench guys, Reece Haggett is coming up in there, as is the GB captain. This is going to be a real tough one for the Riders. You know, they've dominated the league so far this season, Daniel. You know, Calvo, Taylor, the whole team, their whole team ethos, they've had a stranglehold on everything. And now to come here against, to be fair, an unfancied team, they've been taken apart in the final in a quite spectacular way.
Well, I said to you at the beginning of the game, Sheffield need 80 points to win. I should have said 71, because Leicester have been in 3 trophy finals and they've lost to 71 points on all 3 of them. 71-69 here, 71-50 against Newcastle in 06, and 71-68.
Well, you should have just told us that, Dan. We could have relaxed and watched the game and enjoyed it instead of losing our breath in what was a fantastic game. You know.
Well, Rob Paternostro takes that winner's medal. I don't think it'll be featured prominently in the Paternostro house.
No, he's not happy, and I didn't see what call it was that had him disappointed. But not disappointed are these young men across the way. But Rob, basically, he wasn't happy with something. I don't know what it was, but it's really rankling with him right now. Mikael Williams, look at him there. He couldn't play a single second of the game, but wow, he must feel so proud of his teammates.
Yeah, he was right there in the middle of the shot there, and you've got to give him credit for this run helping them to get there, and I'm sure it's a little bittersweet for him that he wasn't able to play, but that his team has come out on top. It really was a phenomenal performance.
Well, do you want to play and lose, or do you want to watch and win? I think right here with what's happened, watching the guys come up now, he's just going to be over the moon. He made all those bags of three-pointers as BJ Holmes carried his bag of three-pointers.
I don't think this will be the only trip to the centre table that BJ Holmes will be making in the next couple of minutes.
Well, that's not a bad guess. Nick Lewis, 19 years old, bags of confidence. This is a young man that has a big future ahead of him. Zach Gachet. We said, Daniel, that, you know, patience wasn't his forte, but my, did he fit in here like a glove.
Mike Tuck, 11.7 rebounds. The stats almost belie the contribution that he made to this game.
You know, oh my, steely determination. That's all I can say about Mike Tuck. You know, epitomizing that big rebound he chased.
And Olu Babalola going up for his medal, and then behind him comes Jemison again, did a great job on the glass,
yes.
15 points as well.
I think that triumvirate of Olu Babalola, Mike Tuck and Jemison really were the foundations that BJ Holmes worked with.
And now the record breaker going for his 19th BBL medal, his record 8th in the BBL trophy. Nobody has won more than this man in the British Basketball League.
Well, you know what, and when he turned that ball over, all his teammates rallied around it. Don't worry, let's just win the game, and win the game they did.
And now the captain, Mike Tuck, wanders up, applauds the fans, goes to receive his medal, and then he shakes the hands of Paul Blake, the chairman of the BBL, gets the trophy, smiles for the cameras, and any second now he's going to raise it above his head triumphantly. And you've got to be pleased for a guy like Mike Tuck, a veteran who's been around the league, gives it every night.
Absolutely gives it every night. You know, and tonight he really showed what it was all about for those Sheffield fans, made the Sheffield organisation proud of what they've achieved. Fantastic.
Now the coaches will go up and get their medals as well. There's Atiba Lyons, and what a tremendous job Atiba's done today.
Well, he's got a smile as wide as ever, you know, and he fully deserves it. Wow, he must have worked really hard in this past week when they knew they'd be facing the Riders in the final without Williams, what to do, and boy, did he come up with a plan.
And Atiba Lyons gets his winner's medal, and he said it felt like a decade since the last one, but he's got one now, and I'm sure will live long in the memory. And Williams, he's thrown away the crutches, he's going up in the boot to get his medal.
Oh, wow. What a feeling. Mikael Williams played his part, as you said, in getting them here, hitting a bunch of three-pointers against the Cheshire Phoenix on the way here.
Well, they always milk this. They read out the stats really slowly to try and see if they can tease the fans into thinking, who might it be? Who could possibly be the MVP? There's absolutely no question of a doubt in this game who the MVP is.
The biggest shark.
BJ Holmes.
Wow.
Kel Surprise. 5 3-pointers, a record equaling 25 points. He also had 7 rebounds. 7 rebounds from the little guy.
You know what was nice there? As he receives that golden ball from Moulton Daniel, he was asking his team to come with him to get the MVP. What a young man. What a compassionate young man for his team.
And you think how they changed. His first 2 games were against Leicester in the semi-final of the Cup, and they were well beaten in both those, and how they've developed as a team as they've got used to BJ Holmes.
Absolutely. This is a big-time player, a big heart for the little fella, as I said, holding up his trophy. Absolutely well-deserved. Absolutely well-deserved. I mean, he ran this game. He ran the show.
He was totally dominant. Also drew 6 fouls. It's an underrated stat, but drew the important foul at the end, made 2 free throws to win it.
4 of 4 in the fourth quarter from the free throw line. Critical free throws. Critical free throws. Wow.
Well, it was a phenomenal game. I'm not sure one or two of these Sheffield fans can believe it. They're wiping their eyes away just to make sure that they've actually seen it, because I'm sure they couldn't have been too many of them came here in much hope. They must have thought Leicester heavy favourites, Williams out for the season, but none of it. They were absolutely tremendous.
Well, I saw them limping into this fantastic arena earlier on, and they had their chins on the floor. Oh, we're coming for a whopping. We don't think we can do it. But oh my, are they enjoying it?
Certainly did, and you have to say they dominated this game. Really, they were in the lead throughout. Leicester came back. They weathered everything that Leicester could throw at them, and they've come out BBL Trophy champions for 2013. A phenomenal performance by the Sharks. Let's go back to Tony.
Thanks very much indeed. You wanted a ball game, you got it. What a dramatic match, and the Sheffield Sharks are the BBL Trophy champions. We'll try and work out how they did it next. Welcome back to Glasgow, where we have witnessed one of the biggest BBL shocks of all time. Sheffield Sharks weren't given a chance by many. They were 10-1. And conversely, the Riders were 10-1 on to win it today. But look at that, the Sharks lifting the trophy. They have won the BBL trophy here, and it's been a really dramatic afternoon, because with 8 seconds left, 8, the scores were level. Dave Elderkin is still here. We kept saying the Riders would fight back, and they just couldn't manage it in the end. The Sharks held on.
They did. The Sharks, terrific job to hold on. I mean, what a great game, what a great occasion. And also a testament to all those people who believe in the BBL and the dedicated work they've put in the air. That was a great statement for BBL. So really, really tremendous game today.
It was, wasn't it? The crowd absolutely loved it. And what was the secret to the Sharks' success? Because, let's face it, you know, you guys didn't back them beforehand, and they were big underdogs today, weren't they?
Well, we did mention that if BJ played well and Mike took... Yeah, no, you're right.
And then you said you thought
we
the
were all
Riders
for
would win.
Leicester, but there was no question where the MVP was going. That young man, you know, you talk, it's a day of the 6'8" forwards, the 7-foot centres, but a small guard today dominated the game and quite rightly earned the MVP. He was terrific, he was inspirational inside all of his teammates. I thought Olu Bobololo did a fantastic job on defence, great game. And I had one worrying moment when Mike Tuck got called for that intentional foul, a little bit like Narni's the other night in a football match. It wasn't, but Mike was immense as well.
Well, we saw Rob Paternostro prowling the touchline, looking very frustrated. Mark is with him now.
Rob, a game today that ebbed and flowed. You almost pulled it off at the end, but a tremendous performance from your opponents today.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, give them a lot of credit. I think people wrote them off before the game, which I thought was silly. Obviously, people that don't know much about the game, they got a lot of talent, and you know, they came out and they had a lot of energy early, which we expected. I thought Holmes was the key. You know, we talked about it before. We figured that he would be the guy taking a lot of the shots, and we know his talent and give him credit. He made them today, and you know, the end of the game was a little shaky. You have to take a look at that again, but all credit to them. They deserved the victory.
That's the dream of every trophy gone, but you've got a pretty good shot at the league now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we have a lot of games coming up, and we'll take it one game at a time, but this one hurts, you know. We had the basketball in a tie game. We felt like Cousinard had a good matchup, and he turns it over, they come down the other end, and I always hate games to end on a foul line. When it's in a tie game, I was surprised that they went to the line on that, but that doesn't take away what they did today. But, you know, give our guys credit, too, because we put ourselves in position if we make the right plays in the last minute to win. But this is what basketball is about and finals are about. So, you know, we'll have to get some rest and get back at it next week.
Commiserations.
Thank you.
There you go, Rob Paternostro, magnanimous in defeat, and it will be a real crushing defeat for Leicester because they were expected to win today. But let's just talk about that last 10 seconds, Dave, because so much happened. I mean, we say 10 seconds, but actually it was played out over a period of minutes, wasn't it? A very dramatic 10 seconds, and of course BJ Holmes had such a big part to play.
His leadership was immense in that last play, but it was the whole character of the team. Yeah, BJ controlling. BJ Holmes today did what all good point guards do. He kept that ball in his hand until he knew what the best option was. And that's a testament to a true point guard. Cool as ice from the free throw line, and absolutely deserved every accolade he gets today.
And then at this point, we thought it was all over. Sheffield Sharks had it in the bag, but there was still another twist, wasn't there?
There was lots of twists, because when we did think it was all over, the hardest shot to defend in basketball is the three-pointer from the corner, and Calvo hit an immense one for the Riders to bring them right back in and tie that game.
And there, because the clock wasn't restarted, Leicester didn't quite know what to do with that last play of the game, did they?
You know, I have a feeling, if we could just say that, I have a feeling that Olo Babalolo really worked hard on the inbounds play. And Olo was terrific and defensively and on the rebounds. Great guy, great performance today from Olo.
Atiba Lyons is the winning coach. He has masterminded a wonderful performance. Let's hear from him now with Mark.
Atiba, one of those performances today which will have shocked many people. Did that surprise even you?
You know what? I'm going to be a little conceited and say no, only because last time we played him, I thought we stuck with him for a long time, and we just had some mental breakdowns, like I said earlier. And today they just stuck with it, and they played much better defensively, which I thought was a testament to just working hard and making the extra plays. So, you know, my guys, we busted their butt all week long about just defense, and offense. They're aggressive, and that's what they did tonight.
Just looking at the stats here, they shot just 30% at three-point range. You shot 58. That's possibly the difference in this game, the way that you shut them down in the perimeter.
Well, shooting's a great equalizer in sports, isn't it? So in basketball, and every time we played them, we shot extremely poor. And I told the guys, if we hit some shots, we get them out of that zone, it's a different ball game, and that's what we're able to do today, get them out of that zone and make them play a little more man.
You know, are looking ahead in a 4-team race to secure probably that 8th spot in the playoffs, I guess. Momentum, confidence is going to be high now.
Yeah, I mean, we got up for this one, and hopefully we can carry it on. But, you know, we got them again Wednesday, and we got a very, very tough March. We got 13 games in that month, so we got to make sure we kind of stay healthy and fresh as much as possible.
It's a nice start to the run. Well done today.
Thanks a lot.
One gets the impression that Atiba Lyons has mentioned the word defence to his team a few times over the last week.
He's obviously really drilled them well in practice. I think they've been playing good defence for a while now. You know, and there's a man who takes a lot of credit for today's performance. 3-4 months ago, there was the spirit in that camp was low. They brought in the new guys. He's worked to blend them together as a team, and what a terrific job he did today. And also credit to the coach of the losing team. As he said, it takes two to make a great final, and his team did hang in right to the bitter end.
Was that the best BBL final you've ever seen?
Probably was. I mean, it was drama almost from the start. The underdogs taking charge. Terrific fight back by Leicester just before the half-time break. And then when it seemed that Sheffield were going to control it again, Leicester came back at the end. And what a fantastic finish. The man who kept his nerve, BJ from the line, deserved the accolades.
We've seen some exceptional skills, haven't we? Tell us a little bit more about why the Sharks were so good with their three-pointers today.
Well, you know, I mean, 54% is incredible in a league game, but I mean, to step up and shoot that from the three-point line is unbelievable in the atmosphere, the tenseness of a final. And they have got good shooters. They maybe just, weren't misfiring before, or in those earlier games, the Leicester defence sort of figured it all out. But today, they hit some big shots when it mattered most from the three-point line.
And we can hear it from the man who everyone is talking about, MVP BJ Holmes, is with Mark.
BJ, MVP of the final, 25 points and a hell of a lot of three-pointers. The most impressive game from you.
Thanks. Couldn't do it without my teammates. They was hitting me when I was open, and I got a lot of good looks, and they was able to go down early and gave me confidence to make some late.
Did you go out today? Atiba talked about the need to break that zone with outside shooting. Was that consciously something you were looking for today?
Definitely. We knew they was going to come zone us, and we haven't had any luck with it the first 4 games. And this game, the only way we can get them out was making shots. And I took some of that upon myself to go out and make some big shots.
Talk about the atmosphere in those last few timeouts when they were creeping back, threatening to steal this game. Everyone was trying to stay very calm.
Definitely. Leicester's a good team. They got the heart of champions, which they proved it in the cup. And, they didn't stop. They came back. We was up 10 with like 6 minutes, and they chopped it all the way back down to 2. So all credit to them. But, we pulled it out tonight.
You got yourself an MVP trophy, a golden ball, and now some celebrations to come. Well done, BJ.
Thank you.
What a start. And he looks like he's got a real good temperament for the big occasion, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, his personality there. I mean, he was calmness personified, wasn't he? And I think that rubs off on your teammates. When a man has the ball in his hands that much, the onus is on the teammates to keep working without the ball. And I thought that was a big factor for Sheffield today. When he couldn't get to the basket, when he couldn't get the shot off, he found an open teammate, and that's credit to their work without the ball.
A quick word on the future of British basketball then. We've seen another massive crowd here. They're clearly very knowledgeable and they've loved today. The funding is back. How healthy is the sport at the moment?
Well, I mean, obviously, they've got a lot of TV coverage at the moment. It's great to have the funding back. But I think, if you just go behind the scenes in all the BBL clubs, all 12 of them, they're all out there working in the community. They're all out there giving the youngsters the opportunity to aspire to where they are in the future. And I think that's the real key. It's a sport for everyone. It's easy to take up. It's cheap to take up. Ready and accessible, great sport for youngsters. Go for it.
And very quickly, can we at some point hope for a Team GB gold medal or a silver or even a bronze?
Well, I think, the funding's back, so Rio 16's back on the agenda. There's some terrific Brits abroad, but there's also some great, as we saw today, some great Brits in this country. Yes.
Dave, thanks very much indeed. Let's quickly remind you of what's coming up next on Sky Sports. We can look forward to plenty more basketball. Newcastle versus Plymouth at 10:30 on the 19th of March. We've seen an absolute thriller here in Glasgow. You wanted an exciting game. It was all level until the last 8 seconds. Goodbye.